Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SpawnCast episode 144. Sean has Big Show up for some reason.
Because it's Happy New Year.
It is. You know what? It is the first podcast of the new year. You're right, Sean.
We'll allow the male nipple. It's fine.
2020.
It's male presenting nipple. First
episode of 2020. So I think it's gonna be pretty good. I think it's gonna be pretty good, Sean. And we're off to a bang with Big Show. So that is Sean. Thanks for stopping by, Sean.
Yeah, glad to be here.
I did see someone, and I may be ruining a question for later, but someone asked for the deli meat of the week.
Yeah, somebody else has asked too. We actually went with something different this week. Not roast beef, not ham, because I went to the grocery store, but they do lunchtime food there at the deli, and there was like a bunch of people waiting around to have stuff made, so I didn't feel like waiting. And they had some prepackaged oven roasted turkey, and I was like, well, I haven't had any turkey sandwiches in a while, so I got that and some mozzarella, and you just kind of cover it in black pepper and stick it in the microwave for 30 seconds on a roll, and it's so I've been eating a lot of turkey.
Okay, fair enough. Turkey's good. Oh, I see, Andy. Is that like a new sticker thing they do now?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Super chat. That's kind of neat. They have like animated
They're catching up to all the other platforms. It's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, all right. The guest for tonight is Scott. Scott,
Hi.
how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm doing good. I can't wait to complain about something in 2020 with gaming. I'm looking forward to it.
That's how you get the year started off right. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's my favorite thing.
Good to have you. How long did it take you to put that Christmas special together?
Well, I was planning stuff around like September, August or something around there. I usually have to start around then for the year-end videos. But yeah, I think it went into full production for about 3 weeks prior or so. That's when I had to really kick myself into gear. So I made 8 videos in December. I'm done. I'm tired.
Yeah, and you even got Vince Young to come out for it. So
yeah, he was completely lost. He had no idea what was going on.
He did seem a little confused, but you made it work.
I'm happy he could be a part of the gang.
That was good. That was good to see him in there. Very cool.
Yeah, I was happy to have credits that ended with "and Vince Young" in the starring role. So pretty happy with that.
It's good stuff. Then we have Miss Click just joined us.
Hey yo.
Hey Miss Click, how's it going?
Hey guys.
How's that Metal Gear Solid look? You only got they didn't send you the case.
I hope they didn't advertise that they were going to send the whole thing, and
they never do.
Then it wasn't.
I don't know. They showed a picture of the case, and the manual, and then the case standing up, and then the case from the back. So maybe some misleading pictures there for the sale, but we'll figure out a case. We'll figure out a case. Because if you play Metal Gear Solid, you do need that case. I just realized something. Hold on. Have you played Metal Gear Solid, Scott?
Funny you should say that, because I started the Twin Snakes today.
Nice. Perfect timing.
Yeah,
good timing.
So yeah, I played about an hour and a half of it. It's pretty cool, but the Twin Snakes is a little weird because it feels like everything. I already know Metal Gear is very over the top, but Twin Snakes feels very over the top.
Twin Snakes is extreme. The original Metal Gear Solid was not as over the top as Twin Snakes. They just said, who cares?
They have one character on the side of the screen, and they just have this huge pan and this whoosh sound and this motion blur, pretty much in every other scene.
Yeah. At one point, a tank point blank fires a cannon shell, and Snake jumps about 60 feet in the air, no exaggeration, like the Matrix above the shot. It makes no sense, and he just lands like that wasn't a big deal. Falls 3 stories, not a big deal.
I made a good choice playing the Twin Snakes then.
I bet you. Wait, they did the same thing with the case in that one too, right? I didn't look at the back of the case. I have it over there.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
There should be a screenshot with Meryl.
The rumor was that Silicon Knights were really trying to impress Kojima when they did that game, so that's why it's so much more over the top than the original.
Kojima doesn't really like that version, doesn't he?
He was involved in some way, but generally speaking, yeah, he doesn't really acknowledge it as.
And I like that one too.
a lot of reviewers and diehard Metal Gear fans didn't like how over the top it was. I remember it was a very
because it feels very like
thing.
The Matrix or something. Yeah.
It's very Matrix, yeah. Well, especially Cyber Ninja a couple times like does like bullet time stuff. I like everything about it except the voice acting. I actually like the voice acting more in the original.
But they say it's not realistic, but then we get Metal Gear Solid 4.
How deep into the game do I have to get until Psycho Mantis reads my memory card?
That's earlier on. That was one of the
like, thank God.
Yeah, it's in the.
I at least want
footage
of that.
I think after that, I think the first disc ends.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, so it's not that, because Metal Gear Solid isn't a super long game, so like you'll see that in honestly a couple of hours after the first. It's not long.
Thank God.
If you played Super Mario Sunshine, he'll read that.
Yeah. You've been playing Super Mario Sunshine, haven't you?
And you're like, no.
That's all I want. That's all I want. Does he read? I think it's like he reads if you've been playing Mario Sunshine, and then Wind Waker is the other one.
I thought Pikmin might be one of them.
Because he actually says it. Like he has all the files.
I really wanted to say Pikmin.
Oh, he has a pre-made VO for it.
Yeah, because he says it.
Yeah, didn't they do that with the first one? Didn't they do that with the first one with other Konami games? Wasn't it like if you've been playing Symphony of the Night?
Yeah, it's Castlevania. He goes, "You've been playing. I will read your past," and he goes like this, and he actually reads your memory card. He goes, "You've been playing."
If I was a kid and that happened, oh my God, I would have been like, Mom!
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Heavily.
That's great.
I really want to hear him say Pikmin.
He could also
PS1.
The thing that totally tripped me out is it would detect if you had vibration in your controller, and he'd tell you. It would actually see you had a DualShock controller, and he'd be like, "Put your controller on the table. I'll move it with my mind." And you sit your controller down, and it'd make it vibrate and it move. And as a kid, you're like, "What's happening?"
Yeah,
see, that's the problem because I already know that's gonna happen, so the magic's kind of gonna be gone. I already knew that was happening before this, but I'm also like,
Scott, have you played Eternal Darkness on the GameCube?
Oh man, that's on my list. I want to. I recently did buy that, but then again, that's another one where I'm like, I really want to go into that completely blind, but I know like when I'm like, I'm in the mood to finally try Eternal Darkness, I'm gonna remember all the insanity effects that I've heard people talk about, and also some of the insanity effects I know haven't aged well, where it's just like, oh man, this CRT volume slider is appearing on the screen.
I still think, I mean, in the second one, if you get far enough in that one, they'll keep calling you on your codec, and eventually they tell you to turn the PS2 off.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa, no.
Turn the game off, Raiden. Turn it off.
Yeah, he's like, turn the PS2 off, Raiden. I was like, oh, no, what? Yes, Miss Click, you have to try it, though. I do still like the PS1 version a lot, even though the visuals aren't as good, obviously. It's still very, very good. So.
Yeah, understandable.
We just got to figure out how to get a way for you to play. You need a PS3. PS3 would work. Yeah.
Yes.
PS5, baby.
I think I have
backward compatibility.
Oh man, yes, but we'll get you a case too, Miss Cloud. I'll find a case.
Trust
we'll make
you.
that work.
Greatest hits though. Got to make it greatest hits.
Oh, just they didn't even show a greatest hit. They showed a complete original case too, Sean.
I hate that.
I only have I only have Metal Gear Solid in the PS2 re-release case, like when they compiled all the games. Yeah, in the tall box. So it's a little weird, but I can deal with it for now.
In this collection that I happen to have right here, there's a fucking weirdo.
Yes.
Every time, dude.
Nate's here. Yep. Nate is here. All right, cool. Nate is here. Very good. Very good. And Evan, what's going on? How's it going?
Well, not much.
Just good to see you here. Good to see you here. And then we have MVG. Did I introduce MVG yet? MVG's here.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. Very cool. Let's go around and we'll go over some of the stuff we played before we get into the topics. Scott was talking about Metal Gear, so we did some Metal Gear Solid, which is good. You got to get through that on a podcast. Any other GameCube games though, Scott? Because it sounds like it's a lot of GameCube. Yeah, although you did tell me about another game you're playing.
Well, this is my stack of games I played over my break. I have all these guys. I'm kind of trying. I'm kind of like, I want to get through a lot of these, but I also just at least want to play a good amount of them to kind of give them all a go. The main one I've been playing recently is Resident Evil 2, the remake. I actually started that about a week ago, and that game is wonderful. That is
very good. Yes,
that is fantastic. The only other Resident Evil game that I played is RE4, and this is very much like in that same like league of like Resident Evil like greatness. It just feels like everything that like a modern Resident Evil should be, where it's just like it just feels like it's everything like Resident Evil was great at in the past and is great at now and should be in the future and stuff like that. Like it just feels like this great culmination of everything, and it looks phenomenal too. And I think it's really fun to play. Like it really nails the controls, because RE4 does have this sense of like clunkiness to it, but that works in its favor because everything in that game is kind of designed around that clunkiness. But it does feel a little cumbersome sometimes, and Resident Evil 2 doesn't feel cumbersome, but you still feel that kind of like sense of like whenever like you have to like aim your shot well. So I really like that. And I've been kind of plowing through a lot of Switch stuff. I tried out The Witcher 3 on Switch.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's as good as The Witcher 3 could run on Switch. So it's about as good as it could get. It doesn't look amazing, but it's about as good as it could possibly be.
That's a long game. You realize that, right? That was a game that will
I'm
take you a
just
long
trying
time
it
to beat. Okay, I was about to say, dude, that's a lot.
And yeah, I've been doing that. Trying to get through Luigi's Mansion 3 as well, because I haven't beaten that. I'm about like 5-6 hours into that.
I like that one a lot. That's a great game.
Yeah, it's very good. And let me see. I tried out. I'm trying Pokemon Shield.
Okay, good. Pokemon, because I played Pokemon this week too.
Well, you see, I'm not a big Pokemon fan, and at the same time, I'm not a big Pokemon Shield fan. So it's not grabbing me, man.
Yeah, I played another hour of Pokemon, and then that was it.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel like I don't stand by this completely, but this is kind of like my reasoning for now why I just can't get into Pokemon. I feel like if I don't really have like a childhood attachment to it, it's really hard to get into it now, because I never played it as a kid.
But I have a childhood attachment to it. I really liked Pokemon Blue. Like that was it, right?
Well, that doesn't automatically mean that you're gonna love it, you know.
Yeah, your world at that point was very focused in. There wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. I don't know. It just feels not rewarding. I don't know. It's strange. It feels like I'm going through the motions, kind of. But I get why people who are like really into Pokemon now would like it, because it's Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know, it's more.
I can tell it's a good game. You know, but you know, I just haven't really been having fun with it. I tried out. In addition to that, I tried out Ni no Kuni on the Switch, and that game shows me everything that Pokemon should be.
That is an amazing game. I'm glad. A lot of people
not even an RPG guy, but at least I can understand like that game is really good. Like it is beautiful. It sounds amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. And I just look at that, and that game came out like almost a decade ago.
When I got it on the PS3 and I played it, no one else around me played it. So I was just talking to myself about that.
Yeah, it was always kind of like a cult classic on the PS3. You know,
you get the strategy guide. The strategy guide is like a giant spell book. It's pure white. It's super cool, and it actually has like the 400 side quests. It is, but I'm not going to get it because chat's getting mad at me for it. But I love Ni no Kuni, but I feel like I enjoy it more when I have a giant like physical checklist. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's an insanely beautiful game, and I think it really took me by surprise, because like the first 30 minutes somebody dies, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah,
I was not expecting that. That like I said, I'm not into RPGs that much, but at least I can understand like how good that game is. I'll at least try it out for a little more. But that shows me like what I think Pokemon should be right now, and I kind of keep looking at Pokemon Shield, and I'm like, it could be like this pretty and this cool and all this. You know.
Yeah, I went through. I played through Let's Go, and it felt like I was going through the motions. But maybe it's because that was like old Pokemon that I remembered. It was a little more interesting. I don't know. It was a little easier for me to play through. I'm playing through this one, and I see a new Pokemon, and I'm just like, I guess, okay.
I was good with Pokemon because this is like my first actual new one. Mm-hmm. I was good with Pokemon until Endgame, specifically for me. Like when Endgame hit, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but Endgame goes on for a long time, and everybody can attest to it. I was probably for the first time in a while, like kind of complaining on stream. I was like, oh my God, when does this end?
Yikes.
It kind of sends you from one point to another, and it's just like kind of the same thing.
God, what is this? What is this? Death Stranding all over again?
Listen, there was no like grandiose ending or mind blowing inception going on at the end, so it just kind of ends, and you're like, all right.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute, Sean. You got Pokemon.
Yes, I did.
Did you play it?
Did you open it?
No, I haven't.
He didn't even put that game in yet. Oh my god!
I opened it, but I have not played it yet. I've only been playing like one game this whole week.
Oh, okay, that's fun. That's fun. What did you actually? You know what? Real quick for Pokemon, I will say the community is pretty good for that game. When I was at MagFest, and they had an entire there had to have been 20 or 30 people sitting around doing a raid battle right there. There were like
cool.
there were like 30 Switch systems being held up
In
all
Sword
at
and
once.
Shield?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and even they had the reason I could tell is because they had a sign that they taped to the wall.
I saw a picture of the sign. Yeah,
I did. It was today too when I walked by. It was like Charizard something raid or something. And I was like, wow,
That's
okay.
awesome.
Oh, all right. I guess it's working for that. I guess at least. Sean, what's the game you played this week?
Forza Horizon 4.
Yes. Yes. All right. Good. Let's talk Forza Horizon 4.
Excited.
I've been playing it a lot, really.
I know. Did I not tell you?
You told me, and I don't love it. There's some things, it's definitely more arcadey than I usually like, but it definitely feels a lot like Test Drive Unlimited 2, which
Yes.
I like. I love that game. I have a few complaints. I wish when you were on, because like the open world area is so big. I wish there was cops. Like I wish there was.
Okay.
yeah.
So let me help you with this one, okay, Sean? Need for Speed Heat is the game you want.
Yeah.
You want Need for Speed Heat. What you just said is Need for Speed Heat. So my recommendation is to pick that one up.
I'll get it next. I'll get it. Well, it's on sale, isn't it? I think it's already been discounted.
It's been on sale for a while. Yeah.
Not only is it on sale, get the what do they call their demo thing? EA Access.
Oh, EA Access.
You
Yeah.
can play the first 10 hours, and I feel like by the first 10 hours, you'll know you want to buy it, but you can play it for free to start off.
They have a lot of cars in that too, and they also have like Land Rovers and trucks and all this stuff too because they have off-road stuff in it.
See, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that aspect about Forza Horizon, and like the seasons actually do.
Those are cool.
They do change things up. I bought this Honda CRX because I remember as a kid my grandma had a Honda CRX, and like I would always be in the back seat of it. And if you know anything about Honda CRXs, you would know that there was no back seat. So essentially I was just in the trunk and like her and my grandpa were in the front seat. But it was like the early 90s. So like nobody gave a fuck about child safety or anything like that. I remember we actually got pulled once and she was like, oh, he can't be back there. I thought it was okay. What's the problem here? But yeah, so I bought this CRX and like I like how you can just buy other people's customizations for it, right out of the gate. And so like my CRX has like 900 horsepower now. And so like sometimes I'll be driving, like I have landed on so many houses in this game, and it kind of sucks because when you land on a house, it's like the game doesn't really factor that into the physics, so you're just kind of stuck there. So you got to like call in another car because like you can't reverse off of it or anything like that. And there's a few times, I don't know if it's just because I'm playing on the Xbox One S, but because my Civic is the CRX is so fast that like there'll be like little weird like loading glitches and stuff like that. It only happens for like a second or two, but like I don't know, it's kind of noticeable. But like other than that, and the soundtrack kind of sucks. But other than that, like I think the game is.
They have like one good song in there, and it was played during the demo. I remember that because the demo would switch between seasons that you get, and it was really cool because it went from like winter to autumn to summer and all this. They had a good song for that, but yeah, the soundtrack's not great for it. I'll admit that.
I was kind of just there's not a lot of variety in it, which I found very weird. It's like either obscure Euro techno. There was like I've heard like one rap song. It was Rapper's Delight, which I mean that's a great song. So that's like the one song I've enjoyed, and then like classical music, and it's like okay, let's get a little more variety here. But yeah, awesome game.
Yeah, and you're playing on the Xbox One S, right?
Yes.
Okay, that is a game that I would get an X for because it looks really really good.
I'm not buying an X.
Okay, I can't convince anybody to get an X.
If it's $200, I'll buy it.
It was $275 recently.
Is that $200?
With the game though.
The first number is.
What's the game? Something on Game Pass?
Star Wars. The new Star Wars.
That's not bad.
See, now all of a sudden you're like, oh, where's that link?
I could have messed with that.
Man, see, you can't get you to upgrade from the S. Scott spills candle wax, and he's still like,
Yeah, I haven't cleaned it yet.
People thought you were
still,
kidding, and I messaged you, and I was like, he's not kidding. You drew a diagram.
I don't really want to reveal the explanation as to how candle wax got on there, because I like people thinking it's some weird sexual thing. So
that's what I thought. I thought you were BDSM in that Xbox One S. That's not what the S stands for.
Well, I'm not going to say no to that, because I think that's way funnier than what actually happened.
I was telling people I've seen candle wax spilled into systems a lot more than they would think.
It had to be on the one with just like 500 holes on the top. It was stupid.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, actually, yeah. See, with the X, it doesn't have that on top.
Yeah, but I can also wait a year.
That is a good point. Yes. Yeah. Oh man, that system's gonna be $600. FVG, what have you been playing, man?
I'm still playing through Judgment. I'm on chapter.
I'm playing Judgment too.
Chapter 7 right now, and I think there's 12. So I'm still a ways away from.
Yeah, not that far into it, but
dude, I'm hooked on it, man. I'm gonna just play through the game, and
it's like a 25 to 30 hour game, I think, right? Is what I'm hearing.
It is, but I feel like a lot of the side quests.
That's my problem.
You have to do them, man. And some of them are hilarious too. So I'm really enjoying it.
That's my problem is I got in there and it's overwhelming at first with the amount of stuff they start throwing. Like there's a lot of stuff to go do if you want.
It has its own version of House of the Dead, Kamamucho of the Dead.
But Virtua Fighter's in there too in the arcades. Which is awesome.
You can go up. There's old ladies who will challenge you to darts, and they're actually super good. So I actually had to get my friend who is really in real life great at darts come over and beat all those mini games for me.
You know, I was shocked at how fast that story grabs you.
Yeah,
it is quick.
It's excellent the way it just really pulls you in. Been playing that, and I think last week I mentioned I got Need for Speed Heat on deck. I still got it on deck.
You playing it?
Well, I haven't started yet. So once I beat Judgment, I'll get stuck into that next.
I do. I've been playing more of that. I really like. I'm actually liking that game more and more as I go. So it's that one's pretty good. That Halo Reach, and then Judgment and Pokemon.
Is Judgment a spin-off or just made by the same people as Yakuza?
It is a spin-off, but the direct same universe and actually kind of at the same time. You even see a couple names repeated, so same location. In my opinion, though, it is better. The fighting is very, very different. The investigation, like obviously this time you're a good guy instead of a bad guy. God, it does so much stuff.
But just set everyone. You can just get Judgment and play it without knowledge of the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Yakuza is,
that's why I got it.
We talked about this last week, and Max, you probably know the answer to this, but it's hard to know which Yakuza game to start with to kind of get the first part of the story. So that's why Judgment is so cool, because it just stands alone as its own story based in the same universe. So I recommend it.
I love it so much, actually. I've imported a bunch of the different versions. I actually own them in Japanese and English, including Judgment.
So you got the Japanese version with the old actor.
I do, yes.
That's kind of a collector's item now, I think.
It is. This is the guy who was actually removed from the game for using a bunch of cocaine, and I actually have the short box. I actually ripped these off store shelves. I managed to order like one of the last copies before they were discontinued.
It went back up in price, but at one point it was $20 on Amazon. It's back up to like $37.
Yeah, I was kind of I was kind of thinking, like, I think over Black Friday I saw like Kiwami 2 on sale. I was thinking about going for that, but it's also like there's like 10 Yakuza games out right now for PS4, so it's kind of hard to figure out like, which one to pick up.
Never mind. Your Xbox was under Candle Wax. Never mind. I'll say it's going to Game Pass.
Yeah, they're bringing it for Game Pass, so just wait for that.
Just decandle it. So I think a lot of people think that Zero is the best. Zero has the deepest combat, and it starts the universe, but like Kiwami and Kiwami 2, I think, are some of the best to start with if you want to get into Yakuza. Like, you really can't go wrong. The thing is, the stories are very standalone. Like, every single one basically starts out with a very, very encapsulated problem of like, oh man, all these hookers are dead and they have my money on them. What am I going to do? Or, oh man, people are stealing from the mob boss. I need to figure out why. Like, they don't spend a lot of time being like, man, Yakuza 5 sure was crazy. So.
Yeah.
And they're doing Have they released yet the remasters, like the ones that were on PS3 that they just announced?
Yes, they're all done now.
Those
Yes,
are
they're all.
okay.
The Yakuza collection just completed. Yeah,
that's nice. I'm happy for that.
They're good, and they actually did tiny little tweaks that make them definitely actually better than the PS3 version.
Yeah, I'm happy for that because like 5 never came out physically here, right?
Yes, there's that, and I think there's a rumor. The two rumors going around the Yakuza community right now is apparently Judgment has sold a ton of copies, and they're already talking about doing a Judgment 2. They've actually thanked all the fans, so I'm glad y'all are even picking it up like late to the show, but like hell yeah. And there's also a rumor that there's a Feudal Japan Yakuza they did as a joke, where all the characters are just in feudal Japan as samurais and stuff. There's a rumor they're finally going to bring that to English. So.
Well, there's the next Yakuza game is going to be a turn-based RPG.
And the fans are mad as hell, but I'm excited.
Why not? Try something new. Why not? Miss Click, you did get Metal Gear Solid, but was there anything else you played?
Man, to be honest, I just have been back on Overwatch for a while. Okay. So we're starting Jedi on Monday.
Jedi Fallen Order? Oh, that's good.
We're starting it. It was on sale, so I bought it.
I just realized something. Scott didn't play that one yet.
I have 2 copies of it.
Wait, hold on. Why do you have 2 copies of it?
I made a video about midnight releases, and the only games that were coming out the day I was filming that video was Pokemon and Jedi Fallen Order. So I bought a digital version to unlock at midnight, and then I bought a real life copy. Okay. I haven't played it. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so I spent $120 on it either way. So
good news.
Great.
You don't need to be a Star Wars person to like it. It's still good.
Yeah, it's kind of like would you consider it to be kind of like Uncharted-like? I guess. I don't know.
It is Uncharted mixed with Metroid, mixed with Souls. I'm missing something else. I guess kind of Sekiro too, though.
Well, either way, I'm happy that I bought it just because I want to support like legitimate games being made by EA. So that's nice.
Miss Click, you're gonna like that game. I like that one a lot. It's a very good game.
Yeah, I'm just as long as the combat's solid, I can get over all the other things. Yeah.
Yeah, combat's good. Combat's very good in it. So it's a little more precision based than I thought it would be, but I think it's fine. It's more like a Sekiro type game, but it's not as hard as Sekiro.
Okay, so. Hey, understandable.
All right, Nate. Let's hear it.
I didn't actually play anything this week.
What?
I didn't play anything. I was enjoying life. Life beyond the screen.
The fuck is that?
We know you don't leave. Except to go to the deli.
In Grandma's house.
Go to the deli. So you didn't play any weird games, anything really?
I mean, not virtual games at least.
Okay. All right then.
Okay. Yeah, moving along.
You let us down with that. No weird indie games this week, Nate. Are you back to work?
January 4th. Nothing's out.
He's right.
I bet you if I turn that eShop on right now, I will find 8 terrible titles
that
released in the last 2. That released in the last 2 weeks.
Then I probably covered it if it came out 2 weeks ago.
Did you? I'll look at the chat.
But if it came out 3 days ago, which I don't think anything did.
Is stuff at least coming out this week? I look at
this upcoming week.
Yeah.
It's not great. There's a lot of RPGs, a lot of smaller RPGs that are coming out this month. Because in my Switch video game for January, it was like all these RPGs, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to play these, but you might like them, so here it is.
Okay.
Is that it's a bunch of what's they called?
Trash.
What the hell's the name of that RPG series from?
Begins with an A.
Yeah.
Altair or whatever.
That's it. Yeah, there's like 3 versions of the same game.
And I tried my ass off to pronounce all of them, and I'm like, I'm butchering these. I hope they don't have a fan base or anything.
Oh man! All right. Well, we'll see what Nate has for us next podcast. That's fine. What about Evan?
I've been getting a little bit back into competitive shooters with Rainbow Six Siege, but my buddies have
also... hold on. We got to go back to Nate. I just realized something.
Uh-oh.
Nate, did you open Pokemon yet?
Of course not.
Yeah, I started it.
Oh, see, you did play something.
Wow.
Well, I didn't play it this week.
Oh.
Played it last week.
He didn't talk about it last week, so...
I think I played it Saturday last week.
So wait, okay. So Pokemon, I guess, is just not that compelling to a lot of us. Then.
God no.
I'm starting to realize this right now.
I'm at the first gym, and the problem is that the entire process of getting there, you have your annoying ass friend who stops you every fucking step you take. Like, are you ready to take another step to the gym? Yes. Hey, we're at an inn now. Let's go to our rooms. Okay. Are you ready to leave the inn? Yes. Let's walk through this door. Like, shut the fuck up, Hob. Get the fuck out of my way and let me kick this guy's ass. I could already beat your brother if you just got out of my way. Like, he's your rival because he's just standing in your way, preventing you of living life.
It's what, he's definitely like a grade 4 clinger. That dude is everywhere.
Oh man.
I'm sitting, I'm like 2 hours in. Oh, here he is again. Are you ready to go on an adventure? Like, yeah, dude. We left 2 hours ago to do this. And then you have the random professor girl who's just conveniently standing next to you for no reason. She's like, hey, I forgot to give you this. 10 minutes later, I forgot to give you this too. Oh, I forgot to explain that thing I just gave to you. What the fuck?
Maybe she has memory issues.
Why can't they just speed up the whole process? Here's your Pokedex. Here's your Dynamix badge. Okay, hit this button to do this. Oh yeah, here's your camping gear. I left my home and I forgot to bring a tent. What?
Hold on, which Pokemon did you pick first?
Score Bunny.
Wait, which one did you pick, Scott?
I'm the Grookey.
Okay, good. That's the correct answer.
I remember that when that was announced, I saw a bunch of people going like, "I don't want that monkey," and I was just like, "That's the best looking one."
Drum monkey.
Grookey's the only.
I don't know
Pokemon,
why.
He's the only Pokemon that has actually thought to bring a weapon to the battle.
Yeah, that dumb frog-looking thing cries at the beginning.
Oh my god!
Why would I
Why
pick
you
him?
select it? He is a Pokemon with depression. At any moment, he may use suicide.
You're picking him out of sympathy. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Someone used hey.
Grookey's a little far, but still.
Grookey is the correct Pokemon to pick. Absolutely.
Why? That's what Hob picked.
I
I've
like
been
them.
killing his Grookey.
You keep killing his Grookey with Score
He's
Bunny?
just sitting there. He's like, hey, I'm like, yeah, Ember. Oh, he's dead. Well, I evolved. I already evolved my Score Bunny to, what is it, like Ninja Bunny or something? And I'm still fighting his Grookey. His Grookey's like level 9. I'm like level 18 because apparently I've already over-leveled myself because I was walking around the wild area getting my ass kicked by a level 33 Onyx. What the fuck was he doing there? I'm level 9.
It's kind of like
rock monster.
I was gonna say it sounds like Xenoblade.
Yeah, it actually sounds more realistic. Like I picture that being what happens when you walk out of Pallet Town in the beginning. You just run into a 30-foot high Onyx, and that's just the end of your adventure.
Yeah, I see the Onyx walker. I'm like, oh, battle him. I wouldn't mind having an Onyx. He's like level 33. I'm like, okay, well, I'm a level 9, and I have a Choodle. Maybe his water attack can do something. And then he's just landsliding the shit out of my team, and I died. I'm like, well, that's great. That was 20 minutes well spent. Then I finally get beyond the wild area, and this friggin' Hob sitting there saying, hey, you want to walk through this door? I'm like, oh my God. I'd rather fight the Onyx again.
Make the video, Nate. Make the video.
Set up the camera.
Dude, just make it
and
about
then don't
Hop.
turn it on. Just set it up.
Don't even make it about Pokemon. Just make it about Hop.
Well, no. I think it'd be great to why I hate Pokemon Sword and Shield. You can just start off being like, Nate is a bitch.
Like, I like the combat. I like walking around the world. I just go away.
I mean, the combat
Leave
really
me alone.
The combat really hasn't changed though. It's still the same combat, right?
Yeah, it's still fun. But why is my rival a pain in my ass? Gary Oak was just like, hey, you're a bitch. And then you beat him and he left you alone. He's like, all right, fuck off. I'll meet you at the next gym, loser. Hobbs just, hey, man, you know my brother's the champion? Like, yes, we've met your brother 4 times right now. And he conveniently just walks around with a giant Charizard.
Yeah, but he got all those sponsorship stickers.
Yeah, he's walking around like he's a damn NASCAR.
That's great. I like to think he's done over the top on purpose, but who knows?
And then friggin' Tony Stark is the Chancellor of Pokemon.
Maybe next week you'll play more Pokemon then.
Yeah, maybe once I actually make it to the first gym and Hob leaves me alone.
Oh gosh,
he doesn't. By the way,
he doesn't. He just crushes dreams.
Why do I hear?
Who the hell just turned on a Vita?
Or is it Vita? It's a Vita. It's a Vita. Yeah. Why do I hear Vita music?
He's getting ready for his video.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, Vita. All right, let's move on. I think that's everyone, right? Evan, we got a Discord question.
Let's go with the prediction one. In 50 years, what do you think the gaming landscape will be like?
50 years?
I'll be dead. I'll be long dead and buried.
I will not be around in 50 years.
I will be in my 80s and more hated than ever.
Right, Jesus, I'll be 83.
It's going to be in 50 years. Jeez, what was 50 years ago from today? Like, what?
There wasn't really. I mean, you had the infancy of video games. So
What do we have? Pong hooked up to like a TV, like where you have to screw the rabbit ears in and stuff.
50 years ago it was the 70s. So
yeah, because on that 70s show they had the Pong machine.
Essentially,
And Kelso and Red tried to modify the Pong machine. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay. 50 years from now, that's 20.
It's hard to predict technology at the rate that it's evolving.
We'll all be dead.
Any companies still around? Any companies left? No one's in.
We will. At least I will.
I mean, that's
You plan on dying at like 80?
Dude, I'm on borrowed time already, probably.
Man. Let's see. 50 years from now, it'll probably all be streamed and there'll be like one system.
Yeah, it'll be like the Google Stadia X or something by around then.
Oh god.
Nah, it'll be two systems. It'll probably be Amazon and Disney.
Yep.
True.
It'll all be streamed, and I'll just yell at my grandkids about how great life used to be while showing them, the PS6, and they're like, put that away.
You get these cartridges, and you'd actually spit in them to make them work.
Dude, I have to try to explaining what a CRT is to kids now is impossible. They don't know. They think flat screens are what they've always looked like. So 50 years.
Who knows, man? Maybe like freaking AR is the way to go, and you just have a whole room dedicated.
You know what? If we ever got to the point where we had a holodeck, yes, my house would have a holodeck. Absolutely. If that's the future I'm in, that'd be fun.
I do think I do think that implants, I've read a lot of stuff about implants. I do think that in 50 years there will be like physical augmentation. So I do think there may be a thing where you are HoloLens, where just inside of your head will be all the graphics and stuff.
Right.
And
Nintendo will be
fantastic.
Nintendo will be to the point where Nintendo's installing chips in our head, but they still won't localize Mother 3.
In 50 years,
we'll have terrible internet.
Be at 4K. We're gonna try streaming.
You're gonna think bad thoughts about Nintendo, and they'll DMCA you.
And you still won't have a friggin' local on-system chat option.
Oh gosh!
You actually log out of the Matrix and go to your friend and say, "Hey, Bob, want to play Smash Brothers with me? Yeah, let's jack into the Matrix, Bill."
Evan, we have another Discord question because you said we had a couple of them. We can go through a few now.
Yeah, we could do the one I guess I said to you guys earlier. Would you like to see a new Paper Mario for Switch or a remake of Paper Mario: A Thousand Year Door?
I'd like to see a brand new one, but not be terrible. Yes,
tall order.
Splash wasn't that bad. It was okay.
I'm with Scott on that. I thought Color Splash got sort of a bad rep. Like it wasn't great, but it was a decent game.
I think its biggest problem was its use of the gamepad. It was super annoying having to constantly look down and look up at the screen. And I feel like if they would port that to Switch, like that problem would be alleviated. And the only problem left would be the fact that the game has basically no characters other than like toads.
Well, the biggest criticism I hear about it is that eventually you get to the point where there's no point in even doing battles. You should try to avoid them.
I mean, I guess, but it's just like the battles aren't like. It's been a while since I played it, but I do remember like they do give you some incentive because like you get like your max paint meter like filled up, but like it barely matters. So it's just like you have some incentive, but it's barely there. Your incentive is mainly just to play through the story because it's really well written and it's a decently fun time, but like it's okay. There's definitely been worse Paper Marios, I think.
I thought about this a bit more, and I'm thinking now I'd rather have a new one because we're to the point now where GameCubes can be plugged into HDMI pretty easily and you can just play 1,000 Year Door anyway. So,
but do you trust them to make a new one?
That's a good point. Well, they can't hurt the franchise any further, I don't think.
I don't know about
Challenge
that.
accepted.
Yeah, I'll see. I mean, there's the 3DS version exists, and that's well, they tried their best. So
yeah. I don't know. I feel like yeah, but it's just like, yeah, you can plug GameCubes into HDMI, but that's a good chunk of change right there. I feel like most people would just want to be able to play the first two on the Switch. And even then, like, an HD remake isn't like completely necessary because the graphics of those games hold up pretty well.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they hold up really well.
Yeah. Especially when you plug the GameCube into HDMI. Just seeing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, it already looks like like you could just put that on the Switch and it wouldn't look a day like it wouldn't look.
They have to go all the way, and they gotta twin snakes this and have it where every time any battle happens, you see a slow-mo Matrix. Yeah, exactly. Mario's like punching people off a building.
My two favorite things are Paper Mario and the Matrix.
Peanut butter and jelly, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let me go through some of these super chats before I move into a few of the topics here. Chris says Switch XL, not Switch Pro, not a Sony. November with Breath of the Wild 2. Switch Pro, Breath of the Wild 2. Okay, we'll talk a bit more about that in a little bit.
Switch XL instead of Switch Pro?
Yes, they want to do Switch XL, not Switch Pro.
I mean, it'd be like the same.
All right.
It's just a different name. I mean,
it's like the 3DS.
It'd be.
I don't really find the Switch's problem to be it's too small. I think it's, I don't know. I don't really need it to be that much.
And would the controllers
minimize bezels and stuff?
But would the
like
controllers still be detachable, and would they just be huge?
I do like the idea of pulling off this giant Joy-Con and being like, here we go.
Shut up, Nate.
The size of a Twix.
Xavier says, Scott, please put lapel mics or something on your friends for next video special. It's hard to hear their lines sometimes. Love the videos.
No. I refuse.
They don't deserve it.
I like there to be a certain quality to my videos. If it reaches too good of quality, it's not good enough. So I like to bring it down a notch to make it even better.
Cool. James says, take or leave a Switch Pro that has third-party support the regular Switch wouldn't get, like Red Dead Redemption 2. For argument, we'll say first-party games run on both. Take or leave.
No.
I see what they're trying to say.
It wouldn't be split.
No, we'll move into that a bit, James, when we get into the Switch Pro XL, whatever topic, whatever we want to call. I don't even know what we're going to call this. Maybe new Nintendo Switch. Maybe. Radberry Gaming says, when do you guys see a Nintendo Direct happening?
January.
End of this
January.
Tomorrow.
16th.
Yeah. Either.
When does it have to take place for Sean to eat a cactus?
It's not a cactus, and it has to happen in the month of January.
Can it be a cactus though, Sean?
Oh, Jesus, no.
But it makes in March you buy a cactus new.
But it makes sense. You gotta have something for people to look forward to. You gotta talk about the stupid Smash Brothers character that's coming by February, the end of February.
Watch it be awesome.
So either way, there's either going to be a Smash Direct or a Nintendo Direct or a Nintendo Direct Mini, all of which have the word Direct in them. So I will not be eating any plants.
What if it is an indie showcase?
No, they wouldn't do it. They just did one. Yeah. And what always happens a month or so between a month after an indie showcase? Anyone? Oh, they do a Nintendo Direct.
I think it's either. There's a chance it's this week coming up or the following week. So maybe it isn't like you said, Max, like 15th or 16th.
I agree, and I think their absence at the Game Awards just kind of reaffirms that it's coming like imminently.
Yeah,
that was weird. Yeah.
Mike says your dream Smash character edition.
Dante.
I want to see Master Chief just to see what happens there.
Yeah, Master Chief would be crazy. I still think Crash at the same time would be cool too. Like Crash
would be cool because the history. Yeah, that'd be fun. His level could be outside of Nintendo headquarters.
Oh my god! His taunt. He gets up the microphone and goes, "Nintendo."
Oh man,
hey, plumber boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was between either Master Chief or Doom Guy just because I'd want to see Sakurai try to handle either one of those with like their weapons and everything fitted into Smash because he did a good job with Joker, so that'd be cool to see that. Scott, do you have a character you're thinking of for Smash at all?
CJ from San Andreas. There's Chibi.
Oh shit!
Chibi Robo.
Okay.
Somebody from Oregon Trail or something. That'd be pretty fun.
Gordon Freeman.
That's about it.
He used Destinery.
Yeah, you joke about CJ, but I actually would like to see San Andreas on the Switch just to put it on there.
Yeah, that's just the thing. I mean, I know there's that rumor that Red Dead 2 is coming to Switch, but I find it ridiculous that Rockstar hasn't ported like the PS2 trilogy over to Switch because that's already on mobile. So it's just like it wouldn't take any effort.
Yeah, they put Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas on cell phones.
Yeah, but I don't want to play them on my cell phone because that's
I know,
stupid.
but that's what I mean though. It's already there. It's like
I want to play them on an actual console. But no, probably my most wanted actual character is Chibi Robo. That's about it.
Okay. Harley says it's 3:09. I guess that's 3:09 a.m. 3:09 in the morning right now. Hello from the Netherlands. Aaron says Switch Lite not dockable, Switch Pro undockable.
Could be.
Like where it's just a box, like it's a system. It's just straight up game console.
It'd be a way to help with costs, depending on how much.
I don't know why. I picture it being a big ass brick. I don't know why.
Chris Childress says, could Xavier make the Switch XL close to Xbox One X power? No, probably Xbox One power, maybe, but I'd like to see how they'd fit that and make it work. That'd be interesting. Unless it was just a console. There you go. Now Xavier would get closer to just a base Xbox One. Yeah, not an X. I don't know. It's gonna take a long time for mobile technology to get to like X. iPhone just had a big thing about signing for something with 2 teraflops. I think MVG. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a little bit of time before they get to where the X is right now. So, but I mean, eventually you'll see it probably catch up someday. You know, we're talking 50 years from now, but not that long, but someday. Radberry says, I've been thinking about buying an X lately so I can play all the Halo and Gears, but is it still worth it this close to the Series X coming out?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
That is tough.
If it was $200, and sure.
Yeah, I'll say if you can find it cheap, I'll definitely. I don't want to fully say no. Yeah, I'm saying if it's used or you have like a bunch of store credits somewhere. Like honestly, I feel like if you can get one for cheap, absolutely. But don't drop like $400.
Yeah, don't do that. I think if you think you're going to get $300 worth of game time out of it over the course of the next 10 months? Yeah, 10 months. I mean, yeah. Game Pass is good. There's a lot of good stuff on there, and if you haven't played a lot of those games, then you probably can get it. But keep in mind, there's a lot of stuff coming up soon too. So you would technically get the best version, I guess, for a console of Cyberpunk, we would assume.
And things like Dying Light.
Doom, yeah.
Oh yeah, Doom Eternal. Oh, you see every drop.
Mm-hmm. But you gotta decide because the Series X is going to be backwards compatible completely. So
but
it will be.
You don't get to play Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy Remake, and Ghost of Tsushima.
It's true.
You really want the Xbox One X? I don't think so.
Here's you know what? Just buy a video card. Final Fantasy 7 will be on PC next year. Just buy a 2070 Super and you're good.
It'll work too.
Or 2060 Super. What's that?
I said that'll work too. Yeah, 2060 is more than capable of playing some good games at good frame rates.
2060 Super is actually not too expensive either for what it can get you. So not too bad. Core says 50 years people will be in virtual reality in human form, just like Sword Art Online. That means we definitely don't ever have to leave our house again then. Right? Yeah. Amazon's already trying to get us there at this point. Don't need to do anything. Those are all of the super chats there. Evan, we have a Discord question before I pull up some of these the PS5 backwards compatible rumors.
We had a guy who's going to be traveling soon, and he's wondering if there's any good portable games on Switch that are similar to Zelda. He's already played Link's Awakening.
Blossom Tales.
Oh yeah,
I always get that mixed up. That one's really, really good and it's cheap too. It's like $10 or $15. That one.
There was one back. There was one back near the Switch's launch. I don't know if it was any good, but it was like Oceanhorn. I don't think it was like amazing, but
it was. I think
solid. People liked it enough. Yeah.
Okay. I would check out Blossom Tales is basically Link to the Past type game. So.
There's also Darksiders. Darksiders 1 and 2 are pretty much Zelda games.
I like those too. Yeah, Darksiders 1 was very much like a Zelda game. Darksiders 2 threw in like some RPG elements with like gear and stuff. But yeah, Darksiders 1, when I played that back on the 360, it was is basically Zelda with like 4 or 5 dungeons. So it was good. And Genesis is actually good too, when that shows up on the Switch next year, and the PS4 and the Xbox One. But that one's a little more like Diablo mixed with Zelda. It's interesting.
Someone said Okami. What about
Okami's good
Cadence?
Too, yeah. Cadence, that one has some rhythm to it. You can turn it off though, and it just basically becomes when you move, everyone else moves too. But the music in that game is awesome. So get some headphones. Yeah, pretty good.
There's also the first 3 on NSO.
Oh yeah,
That's
a good point.
I mean, if you there you go.
I mean, most people played I hope anyway, Link to the Past. If you have not, you gotta go play the best Zelda ever released. Go get Link to the Past.
If you want a hernia, you can play the first one.
There's a ton of action RPGs too. I mean, you could talk Ys 8 to some degree. I mean, that's kind of got some Zelda elements. It's a fantastic game. Love the music in that game too. So good.
So the PlayStation 5, we talked a little bit about the Xbox. The Xbox Series X is going to be backwards compatible completely at this point. They already talked about it, like at least within what the Xbox One is currently playing. So like Xbox original, 360, the ones that are backwards compatible now will also work. But then we pretty much know that any Xbox One game now will also work with the Series X, seemingly straight up anyway. But the PlayStation 5 has been it's been kind of questioned about how this is going to happen with backwards compatibility, mostly around PS3 games, right? That's what it seems to come down to. PS1, PS2, and PS4 should be doable. PS3 is the weird one. However, we had Sean, who was the live stream from?
Hip Hop Gamer.
Hip Hop Gamer
is the source of this rumor.
Okay, so it was for a remastering engine that will allow Sony to pretty much do what Microsoft has been able to do with enhancements for Xbox One X games or Xbox One games, even with the S, where you get better frame rate, better resolution. Knights of the Old Republic is one of the best cases of that, where on the original Xbox it would run kind of bad sometimes, but on like the Xbox One X and even the S, it's 60 frames per second now. That would be the idea, is you get a game that runs terrible and it runs much better on the PS5, but it goes, according to them, PS5, PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1, everything. It all plays on this one box.
No. So is the rumor suggesting it's like how Microsoft is doing it, where games are released sporadically, or is it just any PS3 disc?
This is that's a good question, because to my knowledge, that wasn't specified at all. It's just that they're working on it to do.
Because PS3 is a tricky one. I could see them doing it like Microsoft with PS3, but at that point, like they would probably just do remasters, because they did that already. Because they did like God of War 3 and The Last of Us and stuff like that, and the Uncharted games. And I just feel PS3 is just a mess. Like,
yeah, it's a shame, because there are some good games that are left on there still.
Solid 4.
That's a good. Puppeteer is still on there, right? That's still left on there. Yeah, right. What was the game that came out when it first? What game was
Folklore?
That? Folklore. Yes, that's what. Like, there are some games that are just left on that PS3.
Yeah.
And if they were just like, hey, the whole PS3 library, you can just go play it, that'd be cool. I just I don't know.
That would literally make the PS5 literally the most valuable thing I've ever seen in my life. Just being able to play the entire being able to play the entire PlayStation library would be absolutely phenomenal. I'm skeptical. Very skeptical, but I can dream. That would be absolutely amazing.
I'm willing to concede PS3 if we get PS1 and PS2. Like if they're like,
that would be one. I think that's ridiculous that the PS4 doesn't even have PS1 games like downloadable.
I know,
like that's absolutely ridiculous.
I've made videos about that. My thing is, I think what the PlayStation 5 is going to have, pure guess, is I think they're just going to have like a virtual console thing. There's going to be a way to download stuff. So I think it's going to be, you're going to have to buy it again. You're probably not just going to be able to take your copy of Metal Gear Solid and put it in the system. But if I could pay $5 or $7 to get Dragon Quest 8 on PS2 and play that on my PlayStation 5, I'm willing to pay that. That's totally fine. I'll rebuy games.
Yeah, they have PS2
they are doing, they do PS2 on PS4, but they did not do PS1. And PS3 is only playable via PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Like I just really want them to do like their legacy content and like, you know, like they have like some PS Vita and PSP games like remastered on the PS4, but it's just like I would really want to see their legacy content streamlined in that way, where it's just like my ideal thing would literally be you just put in the disc and like basically pretty much the disc will work through emulation. But I mean, like I would be fine if they would just do PS1 and PS2. PS3 is a big like, you know, that's unfortunate if that doesn't happen, but it's also very likely. But that would be my dream scenario.
Here's my only issue with PS3 being left behind is Skate 3 will not work on the system. That's a big that's a big shot. That's a big hit right there. Okay. I hear a lot of silence right now. That's a big hit. Okay.
It is.
Hey, it works on the Xbox One right now. You can pop the 360 disc in and it works. Okay. So
well, they're reselling a lot of Xbox 360 games in Xbox One cases, which kind of at least shows to me that like backwards compatibility is at least kind of like is a big thing over on it. I mean, like Microsoft has been treating it as a big thing. Yeah, I hate that, but that's super annoying to me. But it's whatever. But it's just like, even though backwards compatibility might not be used that much enough to have like Sony make it like it's like a driving factor to like put that in the PS5.
This was
like, at least Microsoft is really pushing it to the point where like I feel like Sony might want to combat that with backwards compatibility on their own. Just because like that is the one thing the Xbox has in comparison.
This was something that Sean brought up, right, on Twitter, Sean?
What? Yeah.
Is backwards compatibility used enough to be pursued that heavily by Sony?
No.
And they've not invested enough money and resources into solving that problem. And I mean, they've never really been one to focus on going back into their collection. Microsoft certainly has, but no. And just to be clear, I mean, you guys know my stance on this, but there is no way that it's going to be PlayStation 3 backward compatibility in the PS5. And I will also say there'll be some form of PS2 emulation, but not everything will be playable on PS2 as well.
Right, they're gonna choose certain titles and be like, these work. And I mean, I guess they could technically update it going forward, right?
Right, and I did see Hip Hop Gamer's video, because you know when someone makes a rumor or you know, I want to see where it's coming from, and he did mention that you know he heard this from multiple insiders, right? So he's been fed just a bunch of BS. Unfortunately, and that's really what it comes down to. There is no way that this is going to happen. I mean, as much as I want it to, there's no way. And I had a few arguments on Twitter with some folks, and they were saying, well, if you look at the PlayStation emulator, RPCS3, you know, that's coming a long way, and it is. But you know, if you go and look at the number of playable games that you can actually play and complete from start to finish, it's around 50%. And unfortunately, that's nowhere near enough. Now, you could counter that and say, well, Sony internally knows exactly how to emulate the PlayStation 3. These guys are a bunch of people, you know, doing open source stuff. And that's true. But then it goes back to how much time and commitment and money have they put into this. And I think about what Sean said, and I just don't see them spending the time and commitment to emulate the PS3. I don't think the amount of dollars they put into it would actually get any type of return on investment. I think they're focusing on just the current generation or the next generation.
And to expand off your point with Sony investing in backwards compatibility, we have to look at who is now in head of the PlayStation brand, Jim Ryan, the man who was very vocal in an interview where he looked at Gran Turismo on the PS1 and said, who the hell would want to play this game? So the head of the PlayStation brand sees no value in backwards compatibility. Obviously, the PS5 will have backwards compatibility with PS1 and PS2 to an extent. They probably have a bigger focus on PS2 going into the PS5 than they did with the PS4. But PlayStation 3, a lot of the games, yes, there are a handful of games that never got remastered. But are you going to really invest all this money to say, oh, we got Folklore up and running? Good games, the great games that Sony published and most of the third parties published were remastered. They're on the PlayStation 4. That's going to be backwards compatible. You can play those games on your PS5. For Sony's interest and Jim Ryan's interest, they're not looking to make sure you can play Puppeteer, the game that sold 100,000 copies worldwide.
The Puppeteer hate over here, man.
I liked Puppeteer, but no one bought the game.
I bought it.
You and me.
Yeah. I think I did too. I'm checking. I think I found it for like $2.
Yep. And I was so excited. It was just me. I talked to myself all about it. How great it was. The interesting thing is, I bet you the one thing that could have convinced them that it was a good idea was the PlayStation Classic, and that probably did the complete opposite. I was like, this is a terrible idea to do this. So
well, it's because it sucked.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it didn't. It did, but you know, it wasn't a great effort on their part. But that should also tell you how much they really care about backwards compatibility.
Very true. the Sony Classic systems, like having a PlayStation Classic system, like is still a bit different from the Nintendo side of things, because I feel like with Nintendo Classic systems, like if you have a nostalgic connection to the NES or SNES, you probably played very similar games to a lot of other people who own those systems. Like you probably played, the Mario games and Zelda games and stuff like that. With PlayStation, that, like there are a lot of people who played similar games, but those systems were much more heavily dominated by third-party multiplats. Yes. And I feel like that system, like a lot of people, like 100 million people owned a PS1. But it's just like a lot of people probably looked at that box and said, like, I didn't play any of these games,
Yeah, I mean, Crash is like one of the biggest things that people would say, okay, that's PlayStation, but that's Activision now. It's on everything. Yeah. So it's like, okay.
I don't really think like the PlayStation Classic's failure, not only because it wasn't good, I don't think that should be indicative of people not wanting to play classic PlayStation games. But I feel like they also look at that, and they also look at the fact that the PS4 sold over 100 million units and it didn't have any backwards compatibility. So, and the Xbox One barely sold like half of that. I mean, it didn't even sell half of that so far. And it has backwards compatibility. It has really good backwards compatibility. But, like that doesn't automatically translate to sales, but it does translate to consumer, like it just translates to being like well off with the consumer.
Goodwill,
like
goodwill
people,
with the consumer.
Yeah. People look at the Xbox One and go like, oh man, I can play like all these, like the 3 generations of Xbox on here. And that's just like, it automatically makes the Xbox One just feel that much more valuable. And I think that's where backwards compatibility really, really strives.
The only example I can point to, I can think off the top of my head, is when Modern Warfare 2 went backwards compatible on the Xbox One. It actually found its way into the top 5 of the MPD charts that month.
Yeah.
Which was really weird. That's the only example I can think of.
That does work because, like, just being able to play old games on your system is like really beneficial to a lot of people. Like, people just are automatically like, oh man, I remember that game, and they buy it again and they play it, And but then again, I feel like just remastering a lot of those old games can be even more like that's just way more profitable, because like with Modern Warfare 2 going backwards compatible, you can just use the old disc, and that's you don't make a sale from that at all. No. So it's just like, I feel like Sony's much more in the business of just remastering a lot of their old stuff instead of just letting you use the discs.
Sure. Yeah, very cool, very cool. Evan, do we have actually hold on, no, the PS5 has to be backwards compatible, so then Misclick can play Metal Gear Solid.
That's the whole plan.
Yeah, is that gonna, if the PS5 is backwards compatible with Misclick, are you gonna look back on that PlayStation library a bit more now if that does happen?
To be honest, if it outweighs for me, I just gotta make sure I get time into it.
Okay.
So it's possible though. I'm looking forward to possibly. I don't know. I hope there's enough momentum for me to do so.
Do you guys remember when the PS4 first came out, like when it launched, and everyone was like, why can't this play PS3 games? And people were really kind of not unhappy about it, but very confused, But that whole thing only lasted maybe a month, and they started just releasing bangers. And after that, I mean, people forgot about it. It was, no one really talked about it after that.
I thought it was like 3 months. I remember it as like that first 3 months, people were a little bit like, because that first 3 months was a little bit dry until we got infamous Second Son and Titanfall started coming out on Xbox One.
Well, they kept on releasing PS3 games up until that point. Like Sony released like a bunch of PS3 exclusives out of nowhere right before. They released like Puppeteer, they released Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus, they released Gran Turismo 6, and this was like right up until the launch of the PS4. And it's just like, like not a lot of people played those because...
That's when backwards compatibility becomes the topic moving into next gen that's when they get concerned about it, because there's still good games coming to that old platform that you can't play on your new one, but that's not going to be an issue moving into these new platforms. You can play The Last of Us 2 on your PS5, or you can wait 6 months and inevitably get the PS5 patched version of The Last of Us 2.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. If they do that and they re-release it with PS5 box art and all of that, right? Is it just going to be the PS4 disc that you pop in and it downloads the patch?
Yeah, that's where they probably wouldn't put it in like a PS5 box. You're going to probably see, like Microsoft does now with the 360 games that are compatible. It's just going to be works on both PS4 and PS5. In Sony's favor, they just might not give it a price drop after 3 months.
Yeah, I think I think as long as it's a drop-in box for this PS4 Pro, I unplug this PS4 Pro and I just plug in the PS5 and it's still the same, basically playing the same PS4 games, but then also the PS5 games. I'm fine with that, because the worst thing ever was when the PS4 came out and the PS3, like you said, Scott, was still getting games, and I left them both hooked up. And I was like, this
that's the one thing. Like, I love collecting games. That's like one of my favorite hobbies, but I hate plugging in consoles. It is so annoying to keep all those things plugged in. It's not only is it a fire hazard, but it's just like I know for a fact like my Switch could run like N64 games. Yeah, but they just don't want to put them on there, and just like it's really annoying to me. Yeah, I would much rather just have like the 3 systems plugged in, but no, I have to have an original Xbox set up just because I'm a moron. But it's just ridiculous.
Do they? Oh wait, was there an HDMI mod coming for an original Xbox at some point? MVG, do you know if that's ever happening?
I have an HDMI cable for it.
There's one, yeah.
Okay.
There is something in the works there.
Okay, because I want to solder something to the board, okay, cool. Very good. Do we have any Discord questions left, Evan?
We got a couple. Actually got 3 of them. This year, what are we expecting in terms of gimmicks for the Switch? More stuff along the lines of Labo and Ring Fit, or are we looking at games that might utilize those further?
Well, we saw our first. No, not really. We did see our first Labo Pokemon crossover. So that happened in Japan. So they are at least still holding out hope for Labo. I don't know. I mean, how do you predict an RPG fitness game?
Yeah, I mean,
how do you predict cardboard?
Complete shot in the dark. I do think that we may get another weird peripheral, something that maybe attaches to the Switch. Maybe they'll put some sort of, extra Breath of the Wild sun visor for your Switch Mini. I have a feeling they're going to try and sell us more like physical goods.
Well, it's coming, right? The Pokemon sleep sensor thing?
Oh, yeah.
Is that still a thing?
I think so. That's gonna be
Pokemon Go Plus.
Yeah,
2 pluses.
It's just 2 pluses. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you give me one of those that replaces the whole gotcha system, the third-party stuff, like I'd buy it just because it's first party.
Oh man, we're gonna eventually start drawing blood and like putting it into a vial form or something for a Switch.
Mail it off. Wait 3 months.
It's like we're getting to that point, man.
Got a little like anime girl on the screen. It's like, I'm so thirsty. Please give me your blood. Ooh, woo,
no, we.
I'm quietly hoping that when they release House of the Dead, they'll release some kind of light gun for the Switch.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Well, we were talking. Wouldn't it be cool if someone could find a way if we could start playing games with Ring Fit? Someone was like, "I'll buy a Ring Fit the second I can play Breath of the Wild with a Ring Fit." I was
like, "They just drop like a WarioWare that just works with it."
Yeah, I mean, if they did more games with Ring Fit, I think that'd be freaking amazing. Like, you get the game that comes with it, but then you could buy additional. Like, I think that'd be awesome.
Let's move over to the what are we gonna call this? It's not a Switch Pro. What is this? A new Switch? This was
Switch.
So
Switch
this whole
XL
thing.
Pro Lite.
What's interesting about this whole thing comes from a simple prediction by an analyst, and they interviewed. They had how many of them were on there? 10.
Yeah,
there were a ton, right? And Cirkin Toto went ahead and predicted that he calls it a Switch Pro. I mean, he has called it the Switch Lite before, but I think that was mostly because DS Lite, so they said Switch Lite. That there would be a Switch Pro or a Switch revision or a souped up Switch holiday 2020. Now, I do also want to point out he predicted the same thing last year.
But he did predict the Switch Lite last year, though.
Okay, that's true. He did say,
that feels kind of like a shotgun spray of thoughts and then one thing hit.
It does, yeah.
Michael Pachter kept predicting a Wii HD. Then the Wii U got announced. He said, "See, it's a Wii HD." Like, yeah, you predicted for 5 years. Eventually, something HD from Nintendo was going to come out there, Mr. Pachter.
Well, that is one of the Discord questions, related to the Switch Pro, real or vaporware, basically.
Oh man, that is we'll give our thoughts on that decision on that when we're done with the talk here. It's okay. So Switch Pro. Are we just gonna go with Switch Pro? Is that what we're just calling it right now? Just for now, Switch Pro. Do we have like a temporary name for it?
I think that is the temporary at this point.
Isn't okay.
I'll look up a thesaurus.
It's gonna be called something like that. I do think it's just gonna be Nintendo Switch and then some sort of 3-letter word like Neo or New.
Switch Beyond.
Yeah, I would like that, or Fresh. I don't know. Yeah, I do think it's gonna be something really basic though.
It's man, I don't know. They put a letter on the end. It's just like a Switch SP.
F.
It's gonna be Nintendo's gonna name it something weird. I'd like to think they'll do just like new Nintendo Switch or like Switch.
Yeah, probably. XL wasn't too far off either.
Why are we talking about this product as
I think it's
Switch
real. Plus.
Hey, you heard the prediction.
He said he was 100. What did he say? 100% confident or something?
He's very confident.
No doubt in his mind.
Right. No doubt.
I believe it. I believe we'll see one at some point. It's hard to say this winter. That still seems a little bit soon to me.
Well, no. The thing he said it would be after the summer in order to combat.
Oh, sorry. I'm phrasing it wrong, but that's what I'm saying. Is winter 2020 is what I was trying to say.
The thing that's weird about that
is Nintendo doesn't really care about combating PS5.
The problem with this entire topic, and I'm breaking the fourth wall here because I'm going to put this question out there for everyone listening and on this panel. What do you believe is the purpose of a Switch Pro?
To sell more consoles to the people who already own a console.
I forgot.
The Switch Lite.
Sean, I forgot another game that I played this week, and I'm really sad I didn't bring it up. I played WWE 2K20 as well.
You fool! You fool!
Wait, sorry, go ahead. Did you guys hear? You guys heard about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I'm off topic here for a second. If when it turned 2020, WWE 2K20 stopped working because like the clock or something was messed up on it, so it would just force quit every time. It would just crash.
That happened to Jedi Fallen Order on PC as well.
Dude, that game is just, I mean, we already know Jedi Fallen Order was glitchy, but at least it was fun. This game, it worked, and it was still terrible, Sean. So there you go. Sorry, go ahead.
People took to Reddit and said they just had to roll the clock back if they wanted it to work.
Yeah, they make it 2019.
I mean, just the game itself is bad. Like the graphics system's bad, the striking's bad. I basically threw this out the window and went right back to Day Reckoning 2. And then I've also played No Mercy. Go ahead.
The thing about the Switch Pro is I looked at pros and cons of it, no pun intended, in a video today. Make sure you go watch that video after this show. Very deep dive. But really the general consensus I have is at its absolute best, based on stuff that you have available on the market now, based on what Nintendo likes to do price-wise with things, this thing would be at best on par with a base Xbox One, which is 7-year-old technology, which will be closing in on 8-year-old technology. Like it doesn't seem like a very viable solution when, the games that will be coming out on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X initially, the big games are going to be first-party titles. The stuff that third-party companies are going to do, you're going to see a lot of remasters, a lot of definitive editions, a lot of ultimate editions, just like you saw with the PS4 and the Xbox One. By the time these companies get up and running with their exclusive games, you'll be talking about the Nintendo Switch being over 4 years old, thus looking forward to the future and a new system. He said specifically that he felt it would cost $400. It would be able to do up to 4K and have bigger cartridge sizes, which the only thing that really makes sense out of all that would be the 4K stuff. Because of the fact of that the new NVIDIA Shield TV actually has scaling for up to 4K, and it's actually very impressive stuff.
So does the Switch.
Yeah,
Switch has that capability. They just blocked it.
Yeah, the current one technically can do it as well. They blocked it.
It can use it for media, and it could do it for the home screen, and then it could obviously upscale the games to it. But Nintendo chose to block it. They didn't need it.
4K themes, baby.
So that's where his prediction: bigger cartridges,
Yeah, like that.
Switch can support the 64 gigabyte cartridge. It can support whatever the hell they want to make.
Exactly.
So that's totally irrelevant. Nintendo's not going to release a $400 Pro in 2020 because then at that point it's not a Pro. It's a successor. So that's where we either have to get rid of the Pro branding and say this is a next gen successor to the Switch and it's just continuing the line, because an actual Pro is all about margins. It's to make more money on as little investment as they can on something that is more powerful than the standard. It's not about them closing the power gap. It's about margins. So a $400 system that's going to be Xbox One level or beyond is no longer about margins, because then they're risking the possibility of taking a loss. And that's not what you introduce a Pro model for.
So you'd have to eliminate some stuff from it to make it cheaper for them to manufacture, like the screen.
I agree.
I eliminate a lot of things.
And the dock.
Price drop the current Switch. Price drop the Lite. So if it's going to be a Pro, it really makes no sense to bring to market. You may as well just wait another year or two and bring out the next gen successor. If they're going to position a successor in the vein of like an iPhone, iPod type upgrade here, then it's a next gen Switch. And that would come down to Nintendo branding to say, this isn't just a better normal Switch. This is our next iteration to the Switch line.
Here's what
Switch you.
I don't know.
My concern with that situation is I think they'd break. I think they'd have too fast of a clean break from their current install base. Because by next holiday they'll be at 60. I'm going to say they'll be at around 67 million by the next holiday.
And that's the other problem with the Pro, where people saying, "Oh, it's all about closing the power gap." It can't be about that, because you're not going to say, hey, 60 million people, we're giving you the middle finger so we can release Red Dead Redemption 2 on this Pro that only 10 million people are going to buy.
I think, but that's the thing. I think if they did a revised Switch later on, it would just play the same games as the current one. And so
it would be essentially like a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing there is I think it has to work, because you would have such a hard time telling third-party developers right now, hey, you have to develop for like the 2 million people over here. Forget about the 60 million people over here, right? They're not going to do that. So they'd make their games work across anyway. They'd be like, yeah, we'll just make it work either way. But if a Pro existed or the new one existed, and let's say they wanted to make it like you're saying, Nate, it's going to be 400, but they want to make money on it. Maybe it's not a hybrid, because technically the Switch Lite isn't a hybrid. Right? That's just a handheld. So maybe they go in the opposite direction and they make a little box, right? And it plays the same cartridges and all of that. Really, for us, there's no reason for that not to exist. It really comes down to if Nintendo can make money from it and sell something else for the Switch family.
Profit is king. Why wouldn't they want to? A lot of people don't need the Switch Lite, but tons of people bought it just because.
You know what they'd probably do? They'd probably put the same chip in there, MVG, and they'd probably just overclock the thing and be like, check it out. It's the Switch, Switch box.
I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
They're going to call it the Switch TV.
The Switch TV.
Oh, no.
I think we should expect more silent revisions of the Marico chip. Maybe they'll get a die shrink in there. Maybe they'll boost the performance a little with the boost mode they've got. But other than that, I agree with Nate. I think it just doesn't make sense. And his comment about how they want to be relevant and compete with Sony is a little strange to me that an analyst would say that, because they've never really gone down that path before. And even if they were worried about what Sony and Microsoft have, I mean, all they need to do is release Mario Kart 9, Breath of the Wild 2, and problem solved. They're going to sell millions, and they're going to make millions and millions of dollars. So they have no reason to do this in my book.
I do just wonder if they are actually interested in making a box for the TV right now, because they have a handheld, they have a hybrid, but they make a box too.
That needs to be like
technology is done.
I've thought about that, but yeah, how does that work though? Because the USB-C port, it's pretty well defined. It can't really do anything else than what it's capable of doing now. So how do you release a new dock that has all these cool features that kind of expand and boost on the performance of the current Switch?
Oh no, I just mean a box that has an overclocked.
Oh, I got you.
Well,
home console.
I was gonna ask if that would be like on that wouldn't be like a Switch Pro style thing. It would just be like a Switch TV. It would literally be like the current Switch, but I feel like that is more likely to happen like near the end of this Switch's lifespan, because that would only be like a $100 thing, like a set-top box. But then again, Sony tried that, and that just completely flopped. Like,
when you look at the problem, when you look at set-top box,
Nintendo did that with the Wii Mini.
And they did it with the NES and the Super
that wasn't
like the Wii Mini.
But the Wii Mini didn't have any reason. You didn't have any reason to buy the Wii Mini. It was literally just a Wii without internet or anything. It was literally just like,
it was cheap though. So that's why people wanted it.
Yeah, so like I could imagine like a $100 Switch TV happening like the final few years of the Switch's life, because like at this point, like people are buying Switches for $300. People are buying Switch Lites for $200. There is literally no reason to do that. Now, like a Switch Pro that is TV only that you could maybe do for like $300. I still feel like that's like the thing is like the Switch Lite still looks like a Switch. You know, you still look at that and you're like, that's a Switch. When you consolidate the current Switch into just a tiny little box, that doesn't automatically look like a Switch anymore. So I feel like there's some brand recognition that is missing there, even though the Switch Lite can't switch.
And that's where
brand recognition.
That's where it wouldn't be branded as like a Switch Pro if you're just a Marco chip that's overclocked and you're just a stationary home console variant of the Switch. It can't be labeled a Switch Pro. It's on a Switch. It's a console version of the Switch. So where is it a Pro version? It isn't. The flagship would remain the hybrid.
I almost wonder if like, because he seems 100% sure. I almost wonder if like some wires are crossed there with communication or anything he might know, and he's seeing literally the Switch TV, or it's a box, and he's like, because he didn't say anything about it being a hybrid or anything. Maybe he's like,
well, it might be.
It would only make a console if it was a Pro. Like,
I feel like it's more likely to be like if they would release a new Switch this year. I feel like it's more likely for it to be just like a redesign, you know, of the flagship model instead, just like kind of like a refresh. Even though they technically already did that with the better battery life, but like just as in like a different, just kind of a refresh in terms of the design. I could see that happening. Yeah. But like a Switch Pro, I just don't really see any reason for that.
It was easy.
I don't even really see much reason for like a design refresh. But.
It was easy to explain the Switch Lite because it was cheaper. I mean, it's hard to explain the Switch Lite not switching.
Well, the problem was if they come out with a Pro, and let's say it matches everything he has said, it's $400. It comes out in September. Now, if the leap is not basically a full generational leap, why am I giving you $400 for the Switch Pro when for an extra $100, I know exactly what I'm getting with the PS5 and a Series X?
Yeah.
I mean, think about iPhones or something.
It's literally for people who have enough money to buy a Switch, and they're just like, well, I just want to. I don't want to miss out on anything, and they just want to get like the best possible version of that. Like. And that's for it's a small market, but that's the kind of people that
people bought
to.
The PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. And really, I mean,
who are you talking about?
What? Oh yeah, I mean, you're one of them. But I mean, people. I mean, aside, normal people, not people who sit around and talk about video games all day.
Yeah, but like people are normies.
Yeah. Looking for the kick button.
People did buy that, so I mean, I think the market could potentially be there. Obviously, all of us would buy it, whatever the fuck it was, because
if the Switch Pro exists, I'm buying it.
Exactly.
But the people who are buying the Switch already don't really care about like their games running and looking the greatest.
It would be
that's just the thing.
It would be a niche market, much like the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro were.
But that's where, because it is a niche market, it's all about the margins to make a profit. It's not about closing the power gap. It's not about getting PS5 downports. It's about Nintendo capitalizing on how much money they can make. And in 2020, the need for that device just feels irrelevant when in 2021, we'll probably see Nintendo start discussing their plans for a next-gen successor and releasing in either late 2022 or spring 2023. So they don't need a stopgap. Sony and Microsoft needed a stopgap with the Pro and the X. They needed a refresh.
I don't know that.
He's back.
I don't know that they necessarily needed it, but
that's my freaking...
I think the Xbox did. Have you seen the Xbox One recently trying to play like newer games?
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about the S. I'm talking about S to X.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that S Anthem is like 15, 20 frames sometimes. It struggles, dude. Well, it has a hard time.
even then, like, even if like there is the market that wants the more powerful Switch, which there obviously is, but like even if, you know, like people want more power in their Switch games to run better, most of the games that people are playing on the Switch and the games that like people are buying Switches for don't really need that, because they're Nintendo made titles and most of them are optimized really well for the Switch hardware as it is. Of course, you have like stuff like Link's Awakening that has like frame rate hiccups here and there, and like other stuff like that. But it's just like stuff like Smash Brothers and Mario Odyssey and Luigi's Mansion 3 and stuff like that. Like they all like look and run very well on current hardware.
Yo,
so
Luigi's Mansion looks crazy for the like from what I've seen on the Switch before. I'm like, what? I guess if developers really sit down and go, okay, we're making for the Switch, they can come up with stuff like that. So that's cool.
So yeah. Microsoft had a statement a couple of years ago that I found interesting, which is they talked about like there is a premium consumer. There are gamers who just want to spend money for that like 1% upgrade. That's part of the reason they invented the Xbox One X. That's part of the reason they have a $200 official Microsoft controller now and stuff, is because they know people will buy it. And I think that Nintendo's kind of looking at that and realizing we could release a Switch XL that just has a 1-inch bigger screen and like $50 more cost and people will buy it. So I don't think that this is stopgap. I don't even think this is about resolution. I do think that it is just about providing more things in the Switch family.
Because
few people will buy it.
If you read exactly what Dr. Circantoto said, what if it really is just a Switch XL that now has the 4K scaling available, which Nintendo could actually like firmware update the current Switches to? It's just a bigger screen. It has more onboard memory, so instead of 32 gigs, you have 64 gigs, or let's say 128 to justify a higher price. Would that, like, that's the one fit pro branding for me, if it's still the same performance, but now it is a premium Switch in the sense it has a bigger screen, more storage, less bezel, let's say, and maybe a slightly different build quality, and they charge $350 for it.
They're gonna call it the Switch 4K, aren't they?
Nate, do you consider the new 3DS to be like a pro system compared to the original 3DS?
Well, yeah, well, it had exclusive games on it.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna say yes on that one. Yeah, because it's actually couple times.
I mean, Nintendo's had a history of this kind of stuff, you know, like the Game Boy Color could be considered that in some regards. The DSi could be considered that.
That's the one sort of gray area, is that they've done it with handhelds, but with home console, with handhelds, they always seem to revise it, and they always usually make a cheaper one as well, but they always seem to revise it and add a little bit more power. Whereas with consoles, they always do the opposite. They shrink them down. They use cheaper parts and stuff like that. So it's really a toss up at the end of the day. It's like, well, what the fuck does Nintendo view this as? A console or a handheld or a hybrid?
Well, I see them like with their redesigns, I see them kind of treating the Switch more as a handheld, because like just the Nintendo Switch like branding and just like everything it is kind of feels more like what they did with like the 3DS, obviously honestly 2 years after the 3DS came out, the 3DS launched in March. They launched their handhelds during the springtime. The Switch launched in March. And then 2 years after the Switch came out, they introduced the Switch Lite, which is a budget version of the Switch with less features. 2 years after the 3DS came out, which released in March, they came out with the 2DS, which is a budget version of the 3DS with less features. So I feel like a lot of what they're doing with the Switch in terms of like how they're treating the hardware can be kind of like, you can make some parallels with their handheld history.
So basically what you're confirming is that there is a new Nintendo Switch XL coming out that will have not only exclusive games, but it will run some third-party games, or it'll run games better, like Hyrule Warriors ran on the 3DS. You heard it here first, folks. Go to
you didn't hear from me.
Yeah, Reset Area.
I will say I do think Nintendo will have some other Switch revision at some point.
They will have revisions come out through 2020 and in the future. It's just not going to be this.
I just don't think it's going to be a portable Xbox One or a portable PS4.
Yeah, I mean they got to fix they got to fix the Joy-Con drift, right? So
yeah,
I mean they got to bring out a revision of something.
They try.
Hey, you say they got to, like they're trying.
Like, this is as good as we can get.
Oh man,
it still doesn't work, but
it still doesn't
don't care anymore.
Oh gosh. So okay, well I guess go back to that super chat. Switch
vaporware.
Actually, we'll just say Switch revision for 2020. Yes or no? I'm just saying revision.
2020.
Yeah, I think a revision. I think a new console, but revision. Like, I don't truly see the point of like a full-on pro model in terms of like, you know, getting games to run better. Like, I don't really care.
Let's add this caveat to this: is that out of every analyst in the game industry article, plus on Twitter, we had Daniel Ahmed also go on. They all, outside of Dr. Sercantoto, said they do not foresee a Switch Pro, a Switch 2, Switch Next Gen, whatever you want to call it, coming out in 2020.
But Nate, what's the other prediction he made?
Which one?
You know, the one right below the Switch Pro. What was the other one?
Yeah, the good prediction from Dr. Sercantoto that we can all agree on.
Okay.
Is that we are going to see a lot more from that Microsoft-Nintendo relationship in 2020.
Man. And N64 games are coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
What? September.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's just his prediction. He figures once the third year of Nintendo Switch Online, they'll introduce N64
He doesn't think they'll
games.
just want to sell a 64 Classic still?
I'm actually surprised he skipped completely over the Game Boy line.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they're going to step sideways and introduce the Game Boy.
Yeah,
Nintendo's really weird with like their handheld history. They always kind of prop up their console history a lot more in terms of like reselling their old games, even though they're handheld. Like you go back to old Game Boy games, you know, those can be a little rough sometimes, but like they don't resell those as much as you'd think they would. You know,
they're very, very slim. I actually went back to the 3DS recently, and I was going through the Game Boy store and the 3DS, and it's very thin.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun because those games don't get re-released that much, so it's kind of it is very it's very charming to go back to those games, even though they might not be that great.
I'm obsessed with the Game Boy, so I'm biased.
Yeah, it's a fun time going back to those games, even though they might have aged a little bit.
Maybe they do just Game Boy Advance all at once. That'd be cool.
They need to do, they have to do Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. They can't be like, well, here's just the original Game Boy games.
Gosh.
Like, yay,
that
Tetris.
Would be funny. Oh, man.
Give me Golden Sun. Just give me Golden Sun.
Yeah, Golden Sun, Advanced Wars, the Fire Emblem games. If you can get the Game Boy Advance games on there, there's some exciting and interesting games.
Well, I went to that prediction, Nate, because it's going to lead into our last topic after the super chats here. Evan, did we have another Discord question to finish up, or did we get them all?
What is the most fun video game console to work on?
Oh gosh,
the one that starts up when you put the game in it.
I don't really know what does he mean by fun?
I don't know.
What's the most fun?
One that you just got so much enjoyment from. Like you're like,
what was your favorite one to work on, Evan? What was the most fun one?
Probably the 360 for that violent ripping open thing that we used to do all the time.
We skipped the tabs on the back. We just ripped it open. Yeah. We just grabbed it and ripped that thing apart.
Scared the hell out of people at the other store. They were like, oh, hang on, we got that tab opener. And I just grabbed the lid and just ripped it back.
That's because when you rip it apart, it's like, it goes, like it's like this. And we were in like not the best part of town. So people were like, wait, whoa, what's happening? There's a lot of bricks thrown through windows in that shopping center, we'll say that. And then the metro store down the side, Evan, right? They had like what looked suspiciously like bullet holes in the window.
I mean, one of the first consoles we got in, the guy was like, can you fix it? And we spun it around, it had a bullet hole in it. We were like, oh,
the metro store decided to put a poster over the bullet.
That's smart.
It's aerodynamic.
Great. Oh, it was awesome.
They're speed holes. They make the sport go faster.
So yes, it was. So you said 360. I'm gonna say. I almost want to say Xbox One for its weird drive, Evan, but I guess
but that weird drive felt like it was because it was a last minute idea. Like that thing. I know. Well, we fix that thing sometimes with just like alcohol and a rubber. Well, no, what did we do to it?
Yeah. We cut the lid off of one of them.
Yeah, we had to cut the lid off because the magnet was too strong. It was so stupid.
Yeah. I guess I'll say PlayStation 3. I'll say PlayStation 3 because put the RAM directly on the chip itself. And they're jerks for that.
We got to work on Dreamcast for a bit, just for fun. I mixed and matched them. The inside of Dreamcast is really interesting because all the parts snap in and out. It's like Legos.
Oh, no. You know what system was really bad? It was the 3DS. That's what I'm going with, the 3DS.
Yeah, I remember I saw your video on that. That was awesome.
The 3DS. You got to get like 5 ribbon cables in a certain order through a very small tube that's sharp enough to cut all the cables as well, all at once.
Jeez.
And that's for the hinge. so that when you open and close it works. Yes. That was not great. Is that, are those all the super chats?
Yep, that's
Evan?
it. Well, not the super chats, but the Discord.
I'm sorry. The Discord questions. Yes. Let me go over here to super chats before we finish up with some of our 2020 predictions, just for fun, just some fun ones. Demolition Man 5 says Switch Pro, a new dock that boosts Switch thoughts. MVG, we talked about this a little bit. I don't know how that would be possible myself.
I don't think it is, unfortunately. It'd be nice if it was. I mean, that would kind of be the solution, I guess. But unfortunately, the USB-C is kind of locked down to only video and power and sound.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because that we've seen laptops actually do that, but they use different connections than what the Switch has available to it. So,
yep.
Unless there was a revised Switch or something, and they sold a dock for that one, but at that point, it's too late, because we're about to have 60 million or so by the end of this year that wouldn't have it. So, unless there's some black magic craziness going on that we don't know about in the dock.
No,
I mean, like the system itself or something crazy or some engineering thing that NVIDIA figured out, or I don't know. I don't know how they do it, unfortunately. Shadow
lozenge or something. Call 911.
Shadow of Nexus does say that Dreamcast guy looks like he's staring into my soul. So there you go.
He's currently dying.
Oh, what's this, Sean? It says E-Man says just got the Xbox One X for $140 on eBay.
Are you sure you got an Xbox One X for $140 on eBay? Because I just looked at prices. I didn't see nothing like that.
Didn't those Soldier Boy consoles look like Xbox One X's?
They did. Yeah.
It's just a shell with nothing in it.
Oh man. Bluesican says just got F-Zero GX, but it's player's choice. That's where
it doesn't bother me as much as
really.
That makes the game at least 10 times worse.
Greatest hits bothers me. PS1 greatest hits bothers me more than player's choice.
Really, the PS1? Oh, because it's green, right on there.
Yeah, it's got that big ass green stripe. Like
I like that though. I don't know why does that bother people. I know some people hate I own the PlayStation 3 version too, where it's the red case. I don't know. I have a bunch of those. I don't care.
Mal says, how is Scott here? I'm so confused.
We tied his family up in the basement. Ransom.
No.
Scott's on vacation, man. He's just hanging out.
Yeah. I got nothing better to do.
Sean says, will new games come in two versions, Xbox One and Series X? Will we have to buy both discs, or will it be backwards compatible in the Series X software?
It should. I would imagine it'd be backwards compatible.
I mean, I think, how long do you think they're going to leave that Xbox One behind? I think pretty quickly.
I'd say 12 months.
Yeah.
I think it might be as quick as that.
I don't think it'll be as quick as like a Wii U, but I think it'll be pretty quick.
I was actually kind of surprised they were even doing Halo Infinite, to be honest, on the original Xbox One. That surprised me a little bit.
I still can't believe it. I want to see what it looks like.
Well, they announced it before they even said a next gen console was a thing, so I assume they were like, well, kind of have to.
A while ago, and they've gone silent about this, they said that there was going to be a series of special betas on the Xbox Insider program on the Xbox Ones, and they were going to be called flights, and they were going to do 6 flights of Infinite. And after they said it, they went silent. So who knows if that's still happening, or if now that's a Scarlet thing.
Doctor says in 2 weeks, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. March will be Final Fantasy 7 and Doom Eternal. April will be Resident Evil 3 and Cyberpunk. Man, my wallet is already crying. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is out in 2 weeks. I'm trying to get to that right now. That's
same. Yeah, I'm gonna review that. Yeah,
I'm excited for that actually. That should be fun. And then March, man, February just completely skipped there. I just realized that. Do we have anything out in February?
I have some stuff on my to-do list. Yeah, there was something. Let me look.
Okay.
Sony PlayStation 5 reveal.
Oh, there you go. Hey, you know what? You know what's coming up this week though? CES. Maybe they'll explain to us how that backwards compatibility works there. There you go.
I wouldn't expect anything at CES. It's like when Nvidia's there, everyone's like new graphics cards, and then he comes out and talks about automation in cars and self-driving cars and stuff like that. It's not really the right platform for.
Corey Barlow's going there.
What do we think the most expensive TV they show off there is going to be?
I'm going to go with 80 grand.
80?
Oh, really? I was going to say like 20 grand.
Well, the one that they actually reveal a price tag for, like, because sometimes they don't even put a price on it. They're just like, this isn't for you. Move along. That's what they would do.
How many islands do you own?
Move along. Yeah, no, they do put prices on some of them. I feel like it's just to be funny, but they'll put tens of thousands of dollars worth of pricing on a TV just to be stupid about it. Doctor then says the only thing that could save me is if Doom Eternal and Cyberpunk go to Game Pass on day of release, just like Outer Worlds, getting RE3 and FF7 on PS4. Those Doom Eternal and Cyberpunk definitely will. Cyberpunk definitely won't. Neither will Doom Eternal, but. I actually thought of this. I wonder if Doom Eternal will get a date at the Direct for the Switch, because it's not going to come out the same day.
It better get a date for the Direct.
It's going to be March 21st. A day after.
A day, yeah.
Christian says Conquer for Smash.
I'd like that. Yeah. Tail with them.
Cedric says Skies of Arcadia is a better game than the original Final Fantasy VII.
Wow.
You're wrong, but just by the smallest bit. Skies of Arcadia is a masterpiece.
War Unicorn says I attempted to open my Ring-Con, discovered that attached to Joy-Con railing was a ribbon cable connected to a PCB. Nothing on YouTube or the web about its internals. Any chance of getting a teardown? I've asked a couple people about that. Does the Ring-Con have screws on the back?
It has attachments technically, so you can get your Joy-Con into it. Like it's got that little port.
Right, but like on the back of it, there's no screws anywhere around it.
I don't think so.
You were just talking about opening 360s with your bare hands. I mean,
that's true. We did. We just rip it apart.
So much fun to that.
That's how you get so buff. Is ripping apart all those cons.
I've had a couple people ask how I'd even take apart the Joy-Con, the Ring Fit. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the Ring-Con.
It's got like two on the back, like right here.
Oh, there are screws.
Like two here, and then there's two here, but that's not technically attached to the actual ring. I think that's to keep the railing in.
Well, maybe I have to go buy Ring Fit.
Yeah, I mean, technically there are some parts you can take apart. There's 4 here, 2 and the 2, so 8 in total.
Here's what's inside Ring Fit. There you go.
I want to see, like, can you take the coating off?
The truth about Ring Fit.
Yeah. You got to put that picture of you being like,
oh, I don't know. You could probably cut it with a knife because it's like a plastic kind of rubber.
Probably,
texture.
But obviously
cut it with a knife.
Do that.
I broke Ring Fit.
Oh, I'll do it.
Before you take it apart, though, you have to do a review of the game, though.
Oh.
No, we don't.
And better than Sean's Just Dance review.
Oh man.
Whoa.
Sorry, Sean.
Sean.
I see you got that bald Hulk Hogan in the background.
I'll put that bottom lip away.
That's a classic picture.
I mean, I have to drop an Xbox on my Switch Lite tomorrow, so I don't mind ripping apart it.
Wait, what? When was this discussed? What do you mean?
I got did you guys see that casing for the Switch Lite that came out? The $40 one, the flip cover? Yeah, I got that in today. So I got to do a video on it.
Oh, is it supposed to be what?
I was trying to figure out how to test the durability. Well, I was trying to figure out how to test durability of the Switch Lite with that on it because it just covers it. And I saw it today at MagFest because Balrog had one, so I checked it out. And I was trying to figure out what the most useless thing I had around here was, and I realized I had the Xbox VCR from GameStop. So I figure I'll just drop that on the Switch Lite, and then I can definitively say the Switch Lite will survive an Xbox VCR dropping on top of it.
And you're positive it will.
Oh no, I have no idea. We'll find out.
That's the fun of the video.
Please just clip him saying, "What's the most useless thing I have? Oh, here's an Xbox."
The Xbox VCR, man, that thing is useless.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I can't remember what I did with mine. I think mine was about to explode. I think I managed to trade.
I mean, at least the S does HDR and 4K for video streaming and UHD and 4K, but the VCR has nothing going for it.
I still use the VCR.
Me too. That's what I use. I never upgraded.
We're disrespecting MVG and I by insulting the Xbox One VCR.
Yes, we are.
I'm trying to help you guys to get the. I bet MVG has an X.
I don't actually, but to be fair, I haven't turned on my VCR in about 12
Wait, hold on. Wait.
It's true.
Hold on a minute.
You gotta guilt them.
I use a PC. I use Game Pass for anything Microsoft.
Got it. Yeah, so look out for that video. I'll smash a Switch Lite with an Xbox. There you go. the most action that Xbox will get in a long time.
Just make sure you have like an actual camera on your face for when it happens, though, like just in case.
Please, do you have
my face?
Camera?
Why?
Yeah, just in case it actually like doesn't
cam.
survive. Yeah, you're like,
yeah, you do have to have the.
I'm waiting for like an Elon Musk moment with the freaking bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
Oh, you parakeet, what's this supposed to?
Fix that in post.
Oh man. That was the RingCon comment there. Then Holly says, "All right, who is ready for the Nate v Jordan boxing match? We're gonna pull in numbers higher than KSI versus Logan Paul."
That's right. We already started trash talking each other on Twitter. I told Fringe to shut up.
Pretty good.
What's new?
Fringe never replied, so I'm
Jordan's been training, man. I've been seeing him like on Twitch and getting ready.
He's 5'5". I can put my hand out and put on his head and hold him there and be like, "Reach me."
It's gonna be the first
Jordan's
ever
like
boxing.
Jordan's like 6 foot, I think.
Jordan is not 6 feet tall.
That's what
He came up to my friggin' shoulder.
The first ever boxing match that starts with a face reveal.
No, I'll fight with a mask.
Oh, of course.
The way it should be.
So dude, you're gonna be like one of those bosses in a video game where Jordan just has to knock your mask off and then just start beating you like as you're
to reveal the other mask.
You knock my mask off, I'm just gonna destroy you.
Oh man.
No, face and lives.
Cedric says Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed is a banger. Sega, please bring the game to the Switch. Team Sonic Racing is just a 4 out of 10. Transformed is a 9 out of 10.
Transform was fun because it had additional Sega characters, whereas Team Sonic Racing was just characters from the Sonic.
Yeah, like Danica Patrick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Philip says TV only Switch for 200 with a game in 2020.
Oh, I totally buy the hell out of that.
Art Attack says, "Hey Scott, hey y'all, Ohio here."
Yeah, like great. Yeah, I love states. I love states too. Thank you.
Big fan of locations.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go. Scott, Dalium says, "Scott, give me a hey y'all." Wait, they said y'all. It's not y'all, right?
You have like 150 videos of me saying hey y'all. Like you're just getting greedy at that point.
Ethan R says 2020s my years. I'm gonna hit it big time.
You do that. I'm cheering for you.
And then Ethan R says, "Scott, record yourself eating food slowly and quietly."
Yeah, I've already done that. I've already done that. Come on.
What the hell?
You have a very specific kink, I can tell.
It's mukbang, man.
Where do you think with the candle wax?
Alolan Jojo says, "What is everyone's favorite Pokemon? Can be from any generation or from Sword and Shield."
I'm probably gonna go with Jolteon.
It's got to be Dragonair or Vaporeon.
Okay.
Missing no.
I was gonna say that actually.
I used to be really.
He's the best kind of Pokemon.
I love Scyther back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, Scyther was cool.
I think the popular choice is always Charizard, wasn't it? Wasn't that what everyone picked?
Probably. Grookey's pretty cool.
I always like
Ninetales. Really cool evolve.
I like Ninetales.
Ninetales is cool.
Like
that's a lot of original
the chandelier thing.
Well, because we're old, so we like the original.
That's my favorite.
Chandelure or something.
I just started making
that trash bag one called like Trash Bago.
Trash Bago. Oh no.
Or Trasho or something. Trashion.
Trashy.
You get your Eevee, you put that shit in the garbage.
Back in the day, it was all about Charizard because that card was really expensive and it had 120 health, and no other card had 120 health. But I'm gonna go with Grookey.
It's the tank.
Arcanine was cool, but then he never did
anything.
anything.
Arcanine was all right, but I think he had Takedown, and that hurt him too.
He originally was supposed to be a legendary.
Yeah, I remember that. He was basically like one of the legendaries of the original 150, but he got kicked to the curb.
Poor Arcanine.
Yeah.
I have no clue what any of those words meant.
Wait, hold on. You know what I just noticed? I just realized something. Scott, you have not played the original Pokemon.
No.
I haven't either.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you now, Scott. That would be interesting.
Well,
Fire Red, play.
I'm not doing it.
No.
Crystal. I think Crystal. Yeah, Fire Red. They did the remakes. Yeah, Fire Red's good.
It
says Pokemon Fire Red. Okay.
Yeah.
It was just down here below the desk. I don't know why, but Pokemon
hell?
Fire Red.
Right
is
next
I
the
to
gotta
game
see
you
what's
should
under my
play, okay?
desk. Let me see. How about this? I'll play whatever game I find under my desk. How about that?
Well, now I'm gonna look under my desk.
Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games.
Hey.
Okay, I'm gonna be doing Phantasy Star Portable 2 on the PSP.
I got all kinds of games below it. I got Gotcha Force down here for the GameCube.
Set games under your desk.
Wow,
I just found a bunch of PSP demos.
I just realized I should probably take better care of that game.
I was going to say, isn't it like the rarest GameCube game you can get?
It's underneath my N64 DD. Down
Wait,
here.
which one?
Gotcha Force.
It turns out the N64 DD is heavy enough to dent a case, though. It looks like. So.
Wow.
How much are those going for these days?
What, the 64 DD?
Yeah.
That one, I think they start at like 800.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So can I just borrow one?
I don't know. I took it apart and I put it back together, and I only had 2 screws left over, so we were in good shape.
Did good.
Yeah, I know.
It's impressive.
Really need a way to play SimCity 64.
No, I haven't actually taken it apart yet. I still have it. I was using it. I mean, you can actually get the ROM files for the EverDrive for all of them, but I have F-Zero on the 64, and then I also have the one that the zip drive, the zip. I don't even know what you call those things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, immediate results. I'm seeing over $1,000.
It went up in value.
That's rough.
I probably shouldn't take it apart.
I mean, why not?
I'm gonna do it anyway.
What else are you gonna use your 64 DD for?
I don't know. If you want it for
Mario
a video,
Artist?
you can borrow it for a video if you want. I don't care.
No, I want to take one of my own under my wing. You know, I want to invest heavily into
Too
this thing.
Too many games, man. Too many games.
God, that's a little too much to be spending at a convention, I think. Ugh.
I think I have. Okay, so we have. Elite. Baytown says, "Is there any plans for an Elite V2 teardown?" Yeah, actually, Microsoft's supposed to send that to me, and then they forgot about me, so I'm just gonna go get one.
I mean, you were just talking about dropping a Xbox onto a Switch, and you think they're gonna send you Elite.
But the Xbox is smashing the Switch, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm showing dominance of the Xbox, then smashing into the Switch, and the Switch Lite hopefully surviving.
He's showing the Xbox coming to the Switch in 2020.
Oh man, there's that. There you go.
There you go.
All right. That's gonna be really fun. Maybe I'll drop it from the clouds, Nate. Huh?
You could do that too.
All right.
Just make sure it's shaped as an X.
All right, we're having fun. Okay. Ziljan says, do you think the new Switch and dock will be Thunderbolt 3 enabled? There you go, MVG. That's a good question. That's a good question for you, man.
I don't think so.
That'd be kind of cost. That doesn't cost some money.
It would increase the price quite, not significantly, but it would definitely bump up the price.
But that just doesn't seem like the kind of thing Nintendo would include.
Yeah, that seems like a question they would ask. They'd be like, "What's Thunderbolt?" That just seems like a question they would ask, like they're leading up to it. Dalium says, "Scott, make a States video with Hey Y'all." They keep saying y'all, Scott. What is?
No, that's the one thing I will not do.
Only in the content.
Scott, when you do an April Fool's video, do Hey Y'all in it, just to really confuse.
Yeah,
people.
you know what? I've always thought about actually saying y'all in some videos, but it never comes out right. I don't know.
I thought that's what you were saying. I'll be honest.
No. No.
In Texas, I hear
and Max is around that all the time. So
yeah, in Texas, I hear that literally 10 times a day. So I always just, if somebody says, "Hey, you all," I'm like, "Yo, okay, cool."
Vanessa Sarah says, "So Spawn, when are we going to see a video of you playing Gotcha Force? It's an amazing game. You should play and complete it through and through."
Yeah, didn't you play Gotcha Force?
Yeah, it's under the N64 DD right now. I did play it a little bit. I didn't play it enough to get very far in it, but I do want to check it out because I want to see what a $300 GameCube game plays like. Yes. It's complete.
How much is Path of Radiance worth these days?
130?
A lot, yes.
I'm still.
I was gonna say 80, but I think that's Radiant Dawn.
I got it at PRGE for $115.
That's good. That's actually good on that if it's complete and everything.
Price.
Yeah, that's good.
I got it for free. years ago, I bought a bunch of GameCube cases on eBay, and it was in one.
Oh my gosh, jeez!
Just pure. I didn't even know it was rare till like 5 years later when I was on a swap site and I saw it was one of the highest rated trade games. I was like, oh, weird.
I have thought about doing retro game review type things, or me talking about older games here and there and like scripted videos. I've thought about that, so maybe.
If you ever want to do like a discussion of that, like a retro talks, like totally hit me up. We could even do it as like a game club of books, like a retro game of the week. Just just throwing it out there.
I think it's a cool idea, and I've always liked DF Retro that John Linneman does.
Well, he just does a really good job, though. He does an exceptional job.
You could kind of roll it in a very similar style to that. I think it'd be cool.
Okay. That'd be interesting. All right. And then Cedric says Sonic Adventure 1 is a good game and doesn't deserve the hate that it gets. Literally going Super Sonic in that game made me feel like Goku going Super Saiyan.
Where the hell's Fringe?
I love Sonic Adventure so much. I now own every version of it. I now own it on GameCube. I had the original version. I had the Japanese version. And actually recently at a convention, I finally got the PAL version. So I now own every version of Sonic.
And then Cedric says 2020 makes Sonic great again.
Isn't there a special edition of it for the Dreamcast?
There is the Christmas one.
Oh.
There was like, oh god, what is this? Let me see.
They had like a director's cut on the GameCube. I know that, but I don't know about it.
I think there was like at launch they had a collector's edition.
That's Sonic Adventure DX. Why do I have every game in the universe?
There you go. Well, it's a pre-release version from. It was only available at Hollywood Video.
Okay, I probably don't have that.
There you go.
Oh, jeez. So we'll finish up with this. I think there was one other super chat here. We'll finish up with this. 2020 started now, and it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of stuff happening this. What did you say, Nate? This is the year of what?
Stuff.
No. Last year was the year of
making the impossible possible.
You said this was the year of miracles, right?
He did say that. Yes.
That's what it was, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what does anyone have any prediction for this year, crazy or not, as to what might happen?
I'll make one crazy prediction. I bet 70% of the games we see this year and talk about have not been revealed or leaked yet. I think that there's going to be tons and tons and tons of surprise games this year.
That's fair, because I don't really think we know a lot about the latter half of 2020. It's pretty much all very much first half heavy currently.
Okay. What do you got, Nate? Nate doesn't know anything, everyone, okay? So whatever he's about to say is probably going to be wrong. He'll do it on purpose. But go ahead, Nate.
In a weird position.
I know. Because, yeah. I know. Go ahead. Should we come back to you and let Sean say something?
Yeah, let's see what Sean has to say. He's been quiet tonight.
I got a good one that's probably going to make a lot of people mad, so I'm excited.
Triple A Nights.
Triple A Nights.
Keep coming, baby. It's coming.
Keep playing that card. It'll come up eventually.
Oh, man.
If you believe it enough, it'll happen.
Okay.
What about miracle?
What about MVG? What do you got for me, man?
I think I said this last week, but new Mario Kart game is my pick. And this is controversial, but I think Halo Infinite is not going to make it.
Oh, you think it's going to miss this year? You think it's going to be pushed back to 2021?
Yep.
It's going to be bad.
What do they launch with? You think they got something ready?
I mean, Hellblade, right? But that's probably not going to be enough. I mean, I think it really determines on.
I wonder if the Initiative or Playground would have their game ready, like Fable would be ready to go.
If they have a Forza or Fable or
Forza Motorsport 8 will be out. They've already said that that's going to happen. They already have it playable. So
I think that will be enough. Plus backward compatibility. I think that would be enough.
Okay. That's good. What about Miss Click? You got any prediction?
Not anything too crazy. I just want to see some Zelda's brought over.
Okay. So here's what I. Okay. Oh, Evan, do you have any prediction?
Not really. No.
Okay, so did I tell you this?
This is why we all partook in that game industry biz article. SpawnCast, what's your prediction? Not a fucking thing.
I'm ready. All right, I'm ready. Okay, ready? Here we go. This is it. This is probably gonna be super wrong, but
oh dear God. Here it comes. Here comes mother.
Wait, hold on, Nate. You didn't say anything about the Microsoft stuff at all? You didn't give us any little hint there about that, huh?
We're gonna see a lot more Microsoft and Nintendo stuff in 2020. The relationship will fully blossom.
And it's not. I'm not even gonna mention Scalebound.
Grabbed by the Ghoulies, confirmed.
Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
What? That's part of Rare Replay.
It's a good game.
Nobody wants grabbed.
So
no one wanted it when it came out.
Okay, so Blue Point's gonna have their game, right?
Oh
soon?
God, here it comes. Here it comes. No one is going to be ready for this. I'm preparing the people listening. You're not ready for what he's about to say.
Crazy prediction for 2020. Okay.
Crazy. This is insane.
But
a miracle, one might say.
If it ended up being right, it would be calling something to come out of nowhere, right?
If this is right, the internet is going to explode, not in joy, in pure anger.
No. I asked Anthu today, and he said he would love it.
Because he doesn't count.
He doesn't count.
What is it?
So Blue Point is going to probably reveal their game, we think, at E3, maybe before then even. And I think, I don't know if their game is Demon Souls or Metal Gear or Legend of Dragoon. I think they're remaking, my prediction is they're remaking Ape Escape.
Oh my God.
I mean, I would like it. It would be cool, but it's definitely very niche.
Can you imagine everyone who's they're anticipating Demon Soul or Symphony of the Night, and Sony comes out here saying, "Here's our Blue Point game." He's running around. They're gonna have the music.
Exactly.
It's Ape Escape.
Oh God, no!
Didn't they do a remake of Ape Escape already on the PSP on the loose, right?
Mm-hmm. But like a full remake by them, kind of like how they did Shadow of the Colossus on the PS4, despite us already having a Shadow of the Colossus on the PS3.
Yeah, because when I played Shadow of the Colossus, I was just like, man, I want to see these developers tackle Ape Escape next.
Yeah, you're like, this is really great and moving, but what if I had a net and there were a series of primates?
See, I'd be down for an Ape Escape remake, but I don't think that's what they're doing.
If it happens, you know where you heard.
When Retro came out and announced Tropical Freeze, where everyone's sitting there saying Retro's new game is fucking Donkey Kong.
But it happened.
Tropical Freeze was an amazing game, but nobody thought they were making a new Donkey Kong
exactly
game. Then it was announced, and they were like, "Fuck."
I really don't know why all of us just didn't assume they were making a sequel to Returns.
No, I think though. I think
then
Retro was doing something new and bigger.
Yeah, well, everybody was hoping to see like Metroid or a new IP from Retro, but it's just like it made Donkey Kong Country Returns was like their best-selling game, so it's just like why wouldn't they have made a sequel?
I mean, it's an out. I mean, they made two really good games, so
yeah,
they're very good. So I'm looking back on it. It was probably a good decision, but I mean, what was the other game? A canceled singing RPG, apparently.
Maybe.
What?
Y'all see that Kojima's dumbass wanted like a breath sensor and Bokai so that you can see how bad your breath smelled or something?
No, it was to detect garlic so you could kill the vampire.
Oh,
weirdo.
Yo, I would kill all the vampires. That's the case.
I mean, Boktai, you had to walk around in the sunlight to gather energy to fight the vampires. If you played at night, the game was like, well, too bad.
Let me ask you. Let me ask
black light.
Let me ask you this about Blue Point. Out of those games, I guess you can technically leave Ape Escape out because that is a crazy prediction. But I mean, which one really makes the most sense? Because Demon Souls, a lot of people are going to look at that and say that's kind of a niche game for what it is.
It's got to be Metal Gear, dude. Like the other two didn't really sell anywhere.
Legend of Dragoon's niche too, technically.
Absolutely,
it's Demon Souls. It is absolutely Demon Souls. Demon Souls has a huge fan base to this day. They recently shut off the servers, which has completely like uprooted the whole Soulsborne community around it. It's easy money. Honestly, I feel like you could totally release that. They may even change the name.
Are they going to
sell? Do you want Demon Souls without Miyazaki at the lead?
Yeah, well,
it's just a remaster.
Even if it's a remake and they call it Dark Souls Origins or some bonkers bullshit like that, people would be thrilled, and I think it would sell tons.
You think so? You think it would sell? You think it'd be a multi-million seller?
Dude,
Really?
Dark Souls 3
I feel like the
huge.
original didn't sell well, mostly because it was so new and weird for people. But now they've been introduced to the series, and it's gotten so big.
I remember hearing that it did surprisingly well for what it was.
It kept selling out. Yeah, the original version. Well, what's funny is that my buddy, I've told the story before. My buddy actually imported a copy of Demon Souls from Japan because it was in English day one, and he was playing it. And I came over to his house, and he's like, "Let me show you this game. It's like super hardcore Zelda." And I said, "That sounds really boring. Let's play Grand Theft Auto."
That's gonna be interesting. They'll probably have, like I said, probably before E3. Maybe at E3 they'll unveil it. But
is Bluepoint a subsidiary of Sony, or are they kind of like?
No, they're just contracted to them. But there's been talks about Sony looking at them a bit, so you never know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if they were Sony first party, then I think Legend of Dragoon would make sense, just because that is a Sony that's Sony first party. But like nobody, like when was the last time we've seen Legend of Dragoon?
No, it's been a while.
Yeah, so I just feel like that name just doesn't really carry that much weight. Now, if they actually put a ton of work and they made it like it's basically like a new game and it looks completely modern, then maybe. But I don't know about that. I feel like Metal Gear may make sense, just because Metal Gear Solid 1 is oddly really hard to play, like, on modern systems.
The controls, I mean, look, the controls need a little help. I will admit that with Metal Gear, but it's been, I mean, Metal Gear does need that remake treatment.
And let's be honest, it doesn't look very good anymore, the PlayStation 1 version.
Well, yeah, no.
Not a lot of PlayStation 1 games that look that great anymore.
The only problem I have with Metal Gear Solid is that if I'm Konami, I don't want to give that as a PS5 exclusive. I want that as many platforms as I can get it on because I want money. I'm Konami.
Yeah, but they made Bomberman R. They made Bomberman R exclusive to the Switch for the first year.
Super Bomberman R, good sir.
All right, don't tell anybody that I don't tell anybody I forgot the name. But that was exclusive for a little bit, so I don't think it's unprecedented.
It would be interesting. I mean, I maybe Konami wants to spite Kojima some. I don't know. Maybe what they'll do is they'll remake it and they'll use all of the cutscenes from Twin Snakes and like amp them up even further.
That's completely fair.
Yeah.
If I were in Konami's shoes, I would do that.
It's probably Demon Souls, but if it ends up being Ape Escape.
So incoming Chaos Legion is what we're saying.
You know where you heard it.
Demon Souls. I probably say that's 99%.
It's probably Demon Souls.
Would they unveil that at like the PS5 unveil event?
Yes.
Yeah, that probably.
I feel like that would be really weird if that was just a remaster of Demon Souls to reveal that alongside your new console. That's not very.
Well, but they've been working on it for a long time. There was leaked pictures like 2 or 3 years ago that actually got the internet really up in storms, showing like all these different reveals that were being planned. And one was a mysterious project that said Demon Souls Remastered. And we think that was like the early. They've been working on this for a long time. So I think if they come in and say like the origin you may have forgot, the beginning, the true start of the Dark Souls saga, like Demon Souls,
I feel like if Demon Souls Remastered is going to get announced, I feel like that makes a lot more sense for like a state of play. Because I just don't really see. I just don't think that's like a good move to like reveal your brand new system and show off a remake alongside it.
Well, I think the big game
you want to push people forward. You want to show people the new stuff, and instead you're showing this PS3 game that you just kind of up-resed and threw on a new platform.
I think the big game they'll probably show next to the PlayStation 5 is probably the next Spider-Man. Probably Spider-Man 2.
No, I'd say it's Horizon 2.
I think Horizon 2 is probably more likely just because it's been longer.
Yeah, they were clearly recording a lot of voiceover. The voice actors have already leaked that they're.
Well, Sony will show us a game like 4 years in advance. So.
New Killzone, baby, new Killzone.
Oh, thank God. I guess that's the podcast for tonight. Let me just double check. We're good on Discord questions, Evan. Let me just double check the super chats here. Let's make sure here. Sakon10 says, to all, what are your top 3 favorite anime? I'm gonna say Gundam Wing, My Hero Academia, and Dragon Ball Z.
I'll say I like My Hero Academia. That's one I'm really loving right now. Dragon Ball Z, Gantz.
Okay. Easy enough.
The Simpsons.
Look at Scott's face. Scott's
Rick
like,
and Morty, baby.
Family Guy is pretty funny sometimes.
I did like season 1 of One Punch Man. Specify season 1.
Yeah.
The Critic. Oh, Duckman. Duckman was the shit.
The Critic.
I saw the Cats.
It's all about home movies,
recently,
man.
if that counts.
What's that, Scott? What's your top 3 favorite anime, Scott?
I saw the Cats movie recently, if that counts.
No, it does not.
Oh,
no.
that's an abomination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insult.
Yeah, it was.
How did you end up in that movie theater? Did you wake up
It was
there?
New Year's Day. I was just like, what do you want to do? Let's go see Cats.
You're like,
Oh,
fuck my day.
God.
Let's do this.
That is not
Yeah,
the way to
so-
start off the
I
day.
want to look at human noses.
Yeah, there was a lot of cat
Dang.
ass in that. It
I
was
hear that a
a
lot, surprisingly.
little too much cat ass, if I do say so myself.
Jeez, dude.
Corsonic says remake Goemon Mystical Ninja for Switch or PlayStation or PC.
That was such a weird, good game.
I'll take
On
that.
64. I love this stupid scene where you're on like early in the game when you're on like the mech and like things are singing and it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
I guess that is I guess that's the podcast for tonight. Scott, thank you for joining us. I know. What do you want me to do? We were talking about cats at the end. I can't save that.
That was a trip. It was pretty good. 2 out of 10. I wouldn't. I would watch it again in another 2 years, but for now,
I heard that
I'm
there's
good.
absolutely no plot. I've heard like people say
No,
like,
there isn't.
I've heard people say that while they were watching in the theater, people were just getting up and walking out because they're like,
Yeah, I got that.
reason.
Wow.
There's no reason.
I
to
got a
be here.
mother and her child leaving halfway through, and I was just like,
no.
come on.
You
Come on,
can't
don't be lame.
You can't translate Weber to freaking screenwriting, and then you can't like take something that wasn't broken and then try to fix it with something that just doesn't even make sense.
Can I say something? As someone who grew up in the Northeast, fuck Cats, because Cats was always on Broadway and they would always show the
It's
commercials.
fantastic.
And they would always show the commercials for Cats. And you know what? That shit looks creepy as fuck. Okay. That shit does not look right. The Cats commercial is like burned into my head forever. And that's probably why I don't like Cats as an adult, because of Cats the musical. Shit is creepy.
Like
Yeah.
real
Are you talking about
cats
the
or
animal or the play?
Yeah, I don't
Nah,
like
dude, that Broadway is fantastic, man.
No. So,
I don't know, man. I mean, like, okay, so like the entire movie is just song the entire time. There's like 5 sentences that aren't in song.
They didn't
And
handle
because
it
of that,
well.
I
Like, if it was a movie like Les Mis was a good translation from the stage to the movie. I mean, my family was a big Broadway family, so don't get me wrong. I could go all day about this, but like,
I mean, I've seen
different.
good Broadway. I'm a fan of the opera I saw on Broadway with my parents. That was surprisingly good. I enjoyed that.
Sean's scared of
I'm
furries.
trying to picture Sean sitting in a theater watching a play.
It was tough.
right.
I liked Phantom. Phantom was good.
He liked
I would
Phantom
really
because part rock, man. He's like,
I would like to see Beetlejuice. I think that's probably.
Okay.
I would love that because Beetlejuice is awesome. But
Is
yeah,
that a real? I've never been to Broadway. I've never been anywhere.
yeah. There's a Beetlejuice on Broadway right now. It's supposedly fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Beetlejuice just destroyed Dreamcast guy, apparently.
Oh my god.
Reese says, please, can you please say, what is Kayum's Anons? I don't know what that is.
Caleb's a nonce.
Yeah, it's supposed to try to say something in a row, so I just mispronounced it on purpose. Scott, I know you're on vacation right now, but is there anything you wanted to say to everybody where they can find you or what you have going on in the near future or anything like that?
I'm Scott the Waz everywhere, and I have absolutely nothing going on in the future. So stay tuned.
What's the next season coming up? Was that season 3, season 4?
We're up to season 4, but I can't disclose any of that information there right now, because I don't even know.
Okay. No, I know, but that's, I mean, like you're into like season 4 now, right? For 2020.
Yeah, well, every single year I consider a season. So it was 2017, 18, 19, and now we're in 2020. So we're up to season 4.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Cool. What about MVG? What you got, man?
First of all, thanks for having me on the show. Monday's video, I'm going to be doing one on the PS Vita, and actually I'm going to be giving this away on the channel as well. So,
which one is that? Is the PSP 1000, 2000?
This is the 1000 with the OLED screen. It's really nice. I've got a 2000, and like this screen just absolutely pops. I've never seen one before, so I was.
Those are very vivid compared to the newer ones where they did the LCD. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. That'd be fun. That'd be exciting to see what you got there for the Vita. What about Sean? What you got?
Today we did a deep dive into the Switch Pro stuff. So if you didn't get enough talk about that, go watch that video. Basically looking at reasons why it makes sense and reasons why it doesn't make sense. And evidently there was a crumb on my face that in like the first few minutes, it's not visible. Then all of a sudden it's on my eyelid. And then all of a sudden it's on my cheek. For like the other parts of the video, it's really fucking bizarre.
That's a full subplot line to like the video.
Like I was editing it, I'm like, what is that? And then I looked and I was like, it moved, and I was like, what the hell is that? So yeah, it was really weird, but yeah, be sure to check that out.
It moved.
What about Miss Click? Where can they find you? What do you got this week?
I mean, we're starting Jedi Fallen Order on Monday when we're back. Good. So that'll be fun. Very excited to give it a try. But you can find me. I'll be live with that every day on Twitch, @missclick_live. And then you can find me on YouTube, I guess, is Misclick Gaming. And then everything else, just misclickgaming.com.
Cool. What about Max? We got Dreamcast guy.
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy. I actually got contacted about a super secret, crazy, awesome thing that I'm going to be playing tomorrow, a certain demo. So expect a video about that. I'm going to be talking about that, and I guess I won't be able to post footage of it, but I'm going to talk about it and the legends or whatever the hell. I'm going to play the hell out of that. And people in chat kept memeing saying, do you have beans? Show us the beans. Here's my giant bowl of beans. I've literally been eating beans all day.
What the?
I just eat beans all day. I love beans. Fuck off.
Okay.
What the hell's going on?
It's beans. Tom Brady just threw an interception with 10 seconds left.
Did they get eliminated? Are they out?
Well, they're down 20-13 with 9 seconds left.
Oh, wow. Patriots got... Wow.
So the Patriots are eliminated in the wild card round.
Let's go
God
Chiefs.
is good.
Go Chiefs.
He just lost to Ryan Tannehill. That is... Wow, that's sad.
You want to hear the craziest part? Ryan Tannehill only threw the ball 15 times. They have 71 passing yards. But Derrick Henry rushed for 34 times for 182 yards.
That dude's a monster, yeah. Jeez. Man. Well, I guess Tom Brady can head over to San Diego now. Or no, actually they'd be in LA, right? Yeah. Probably head over to the Chargers. Oh, Nate, what about you? Where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter @DirectFeedGames. Link to my YouTube channels there. You find eventually a top secret comparison of a game that is not yet out, or it's a weird situation, but there's a link to my second channel, Nate the Hate, can be found on the Direct Feed channel, where I'll have a video talking about the Switch Pro and why it is not going to release in 2020, at least not to close the power gap like some people assume. And, you know, it's about margins and profit, basically what I said here, but expanded.
Okay, very cool, very cool. And then Evan, you got anything coming up? Anything good going on?
I'm just gonna be streaming. Just you can follow me on Twitter @KimRexProject. See when I start doing those. I got plans for, I guess, merch for the channel, which I'm gonna get into there. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds good. All right, thanks everyone for joining us for episode 144. We'll be back next Saturday night, hopefully with something fun to talk about, maybe a direct or something at CES or who knows, something interesting. But thanks everyone. We'll see you next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time.